see. Oh, hey, Raymond. Just saw you there. Let's see who else shows up tonight. Oh, hello, Elsa. Hey. Hey there. Uh, mm, Turn on the light. Oh, nothing's happened yet. I'm just waiting for people to show up. Maybe, I don't know if Trish was gonna join or what. Oh yeah. I got a haircut, Elsa. I actually got a haircut the other day when my sister was in town over the weekend. Uh, yeah, it was actually Saturday. Saturday when I got my haircut. Hmm. But yeah, glad you guys could make it tonight. Hmm. I thought I would wait a few minutes, see. I mean, give it. I mean, other people a chance to get here before we just start talking about random stuff. But if you're curious about the title of the stream, I basically titled it this. I don't know. I guess you could say for like two reasons, but one of those reasons being the fact that I just started thinking recently that yesterday, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's not like really random stuff. It's just I don't know. Every stream's kind of random if you really think about it, because we go from one topic to another. But yeah, I was just saying that I was just thinking that this is the first week of September, and 13 years ago, this week actually 13 years ago yesterday on September 2nd, back in 2006, my grandmother actually moved from the apartment complex that she was living for like 9 years, which was kind of like most of my childhood, and moved into a nursing home for the first time. And I just started reminiscing about all the memories I made in that apartment complex, kind of like living with my grandma because she was kind of like my second home. And I know Trish has also talked about like some of her, well, pretty much all of her enemies started out friends. I mean, which I don't know. I know it's probably something that kind of, I guess, grosses you out, Elsa. But yeah, that's actually a lyric from a Taylor Swift song, which we covered when we did our Lover track by track album review a few days ago. So, but there was a lyric from like all my enemies started out friends, and I don't know. It's a very relatable line that I mean that both me and Trish can definitely relate to, and so I was thought I would talk about some of my, I guess, frenemies, if you will. Without mentioning any like Kegden Kojos, because believe it or not, I've actually made quite a few enemies or frenemies before Kegden Kojo even existed. Like, or at least in that scenario, like I've made quite a few frenemies before I even ever met Trish. So I'm talking about way back in like the early 2000s. I don't know if I made like any enemies like in the 90s because I was a kid back then, but Um, but I know, I know the last few years that my grandma lived at the apartment complex that she was living at, at least between 2004 and 2006, it was almost nonstop frenemy here, frenemy there. Like it was really crazy. And then I said, "Are we frenemies too?" No, I mean I wouldn't consider you actually a frenemy because I mean you're not trying to. I don't know. I don't know. It like I don't know. I guess it depends on what you think is the definition of frenemy. For me, a frenemy is someone who pretty much pretends to be your friend and but it would actually like stab you in the back in a heartbeat or basically talks about you behind your back like but in a very negative way. um so I mean if you're like talking behind my back also like saying things like I can't believe he likes Taylor, I hate Taylor, things like that, I mean that's not really a friend of me because you basically let it be known that you hate Taylor. So yeah, I was just why not mention Kegden Kojo? Sorry, I feel a little naughty tonight. Well, I guess I could mention Kegden Kojo. I mean, I just don't want to like I guess mention like each like I guess their names for example because I know Trish. Oh no, Trish still mentions Kegden Kojo every once in a while or every now and then, but she never really goes out right and says their names in her live streams anymore. But yeah, but don't be surprised if I do name drop a few people. But I feel like I can in this day and age because they don't even know about my YouTube channel, and this some of the scenarios I may talk about tonight actually happened like over 10 years ago. So I feel like anything that happened over 10 years ago, I actually don't like I'm not worried about like saying names or anything. If it's just really recent and it still hasn't like blown over, then I probably won't name drop like people that like I mean pretty much the Caden Kojos because I don't know if you think about it, it was pretty recent. Even though it was like a year ago or earlier this year. Oh yeah, hey Trish, you're here and you're cooking while watching. Elsa, not naughty in that way, Raymond. Okay, what is it? Elsa being naughty, LOL, no why? You know, I guess there's many definitions of being naughty. Like, how naughty are you? Very naughty. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you ever saw this show, Elsa. I know we talked about like old cartoons and stuff we used to watch, but when I think of the word naughty, I don't really think of what most people, I guess, in this day and age, like I guess adults would consider naughty. But I it actually makes me think of Courage the Cowardly Dog, believe it or not, because there was an episode with a freaky barber cousin kind of guy that would always say naughty, like I've been real naughty. Like I don't know. I guess naughty is just a thing of being, I guess, bad, mischievous, things like that. But yeah, I mean, which reminds me, since I brought up Courage the Cowardly Dog and things like that, I guess don't be surprised if I do kind of mention some like old shows or TV shows, movies, video games that I used to play and watch when I was younger. Because if I talk about like certain things that happened when my grandmother lived in her apartment complex, I have a lot of memories of pretty much watching her big, like I guess kind of big ancient TV that was on her living room floor. And I don't know, it just reminds me of like watching Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network, and Animal Planet all the time at my grandma's. Okay, let me read back the comments. Okay, Rich said, if that name is said, it will bring the crazy ones out. Just said, making homemade chili. Ooh, chili. I got chili too. I may even have that for dinner. Chili and Fritos. Just said, how are you, Trish? Raymond said, my cousin is very naughty. Trish, send some my way. I said, Raymond, the one I'm pretty sure you're thinking about. Uh, Trish said sore and in some pain, but doing great. Oh, yeah. See, well, actually, speaking of being in pain or going to the doctor, I do want to say this that I hope I know I don't really ask for like prayers or anything like that, but I just wanted to say that keep my sister in your thoughts because my sister Amy, the one who comes down every weekend, she recently got diagnosed with the flu today, and she even texted me earlier telling me how awful she's felt. I mean, she thought it was a sinus infection or an ear infection, but apparently she has the flu, and she got a shot in her ass today. So, so yeah, I mean, I told her I hope she gets better soon, but yeah, so she's basically having like body aches today. So it's just kind of crazy because she literally was just here this past weekend, and I don't know, she seemed fine then, but I don't know, it's just crazy. It's like something going around, like everyone's getting sick or injuring themselves or something. Let's see, Tristan. Yes, Raymond, your cousin is very naughty. Uh, Tristan decided to not go because my foot felt so much better this morning, but then I stayed on it all day shopping and paying bills, not doing so good. Now, damn it! Wow. Yeah, Trisha's in pie. Yeah. Well, even me, I'll be honest with you, like I kind of been having like a little bit of a toothache or something today. Like it comes and goes, but uh, I don't know. I guess today I don't know. It just some days I wake up with some type of pain. I don't know. It's usually around my face or something. I don't know. I don't know why, but I mean, I usually just try to tough it out and just take like ibuprofen and any pain relief pills I have. I said I put up 3 videos today, Alvin. Oh, that's awesome, Justin. I said you got some fishing string, Alvin. Oh, hmm. Okay. Fishing string. Oh, oh, sorry. You got some fish. Hmm. Or I said tie that tooth. Wow. But yeah, it's also nothing like too serious. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. Like sometimes I do have like toothaches. Like I don't know, but it seems like it's just mostly this, just recently this year. So that's why I said it's been coming and going basically since like February of earlier this year. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah. Then tie it to a door handle, then send the door on live stream. No, no, that's too crazy. Raymond, like what the hell? I said, Trish, where was your cane? You naughty wild woman. Yeah, Raymond, your suggestion sounds really painful. Hmm. Do, do, do. Hmm. Ram said, just trying to help. Mm. Yeah, I know, but still, I won't feel a thing though. I said, ouch, Raymond, that would hurt like crazy. Yeah, I agree. Also, that's why I'm like, what the hell? Oh, what the heck? Raymond said, no, I promise it won't. but uh, but yeah. So I guess I could, I don't know, start talking about, I don't know, things I've been like wanting to talk about. I feel like enough people's here. I mean, but uh, but yeah, my grandmother actually moved to an apartment complex, which I don't know has always held such a special place in my heart because, believe it or not, when I was a kid, I always said, or even as a teenager, I always said that when I eventually do get to, I guess, move out and live on my own, I wanted to live at the apartment complex that my grandma used to live at. I even wanted to kind of like live in or like her own apartment or something because I'm not. It's just I'm very big with nostalgia. So, and I guess I don't like change that much. So I always like what I'm most familiar with. So I would always tell my family that I would have moved to this apartment complex that my grandma used to live at. But yeah, I mean, I know I keep referring to it as apartment complex, but I don't know. The name's actually changed of the apartment since my grandma used to live there, but it was a place called Potomac House, and it was, I don't know, for some reason that apartment complex was very interesting, and the people that lived there and everything that go on, like even the drama, like sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes I actually felt like I was in my own like little sitcom or something, or in my own like horror movie. Like, because believe it or not, there was some crazy things that happened at those apartments that actually did make it feel like I was in a horror movie sometimes, or a drama, or a soap opera, and every once in a while a sitcom, like like I don't know, like Full House or something. I don't know, or Home Improvement. Okay, let me read some of these comments. Okay, yeah, yeah, Raymond said, I feel nothing. I said, that's what people did in the old days. I remember stories my parents told. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Just said, I was using the cane, but being on my feet for so long had a very bad effect. Raymond said, and they survived. Hot chili! I said, you need to add a wheelchair to your little collection. Yeah, yeah, speaking of wheelchair, back when my grandma used to live at the apartments I was talking about, she had a walker, and sometimes I would like grab it and I would try to walk like I was an old woman or something. I don't know. For some reason, I was always fascinated with my grandmother for some reason, and uh, I don't know, not necessarily the elderly or anything. I mean, even though I don't know, I've actually just been fascinated with people, but I used to, like, I don't know, try to walk like my grandma and do things my grandma did. Like, I guess you could say she was my hero when I was a kid. Everything my grandma did, I always wanted to be just like my grandma when I was a kid. So when people would ask me who was my hero, um, I think I would always say like three people. Believe it or not, we're actually four. I mean, we're actually four. My heroes as a kid was Bugs Bunny, uh, based, I think Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, um, David Attenborough, believe it or not, Elsa, and my grandma. So those are like my four, I guess, childhood heroes. Let's see. Hey, we have two walkers. One Trish. Yeah, we also have a wheelchair that used to belong to my grandmother. Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah. It's kind of funny that this conversation just took like, oh no, we just started talking about walkers and wheelchairs just so randomly. Hmm. But but yeah, this is fun. I'm glad that both that Trish and Elsa and Raymond all showed up tonight, and even Justin, and trying to see where else showed up. Oh yeah, and Richard. I don't think I ever had a hero as a kid. Yeah. Well, the reason I think I had heroes as a kid, because if you really think about it, I loved a lot of cartoons and movies and movie characters and things like that. So I guess I kind of always considered my favorite movie or cartoon characters heroes as a kid. But I think the reason why I even had heroes as a kid was because, believe it or not, teachers in schools always tend to ask those students that, who is your hero? Or what do you want to be when you grow up? I'll be honest with you, those were two questions I was asked the most as a kid by teachers. Oh, and I guess I need to pay attention, or I need to stop talking because I was kind of talkative in class. So I guess I was also told to shut up a lot in school as well. But yeah, I don't know. Teachers tended to ask questions to kids specifically, especially in elementary school, like who is your hero, or or what do you want to be when you grow up? Questions like that. So I think that's one reason why it really made me think, and that's why I came up with the answers that I did. I guess like sometimes they'll even give you assignments to write an essay about your hero or something like that, which believe me, I actually did. Or I mean, so I guess you could say it's a kind of a school related thing. Why I grew up with childhood heroes, if that makes sense. It mostly has to do with the fact that kids are asked questions like that all the time, and so you're like, "Oh, my hero. Well, I like Bugs Bunny. I like Vegeta and Goku from Dragon Ball Z." Or well, some. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just. I mean, there may be some kids that will be like, "Oh, Pikachu. I love Pikachu." Like I don't know. It's just some random thing. Like they say, kids say the darnest thing. So there's no telling who your childhood hero could have been as a kid. But yeah. Yeah, Raymond said you was talking too much in school. No way, lol. Oh yeah, believe it or not, yes I was. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of crazy because I always because I was also considered like a nerd in school. Believe it or not, especially after I got my first pair of glasses and everything, and I was always kind of like eager to learn in school, but throughout most of elementary school, I guess you could say I was kind of the class clown. I was always the one acting out, and I wouldn't say that I was always getting sent to the principal's office or anything like that. It was more of I don't know. I just talked too much, I guess, or when the teacher would walk out, I would try to make the other kids laugh. But but yeah. Raymond said my hero was John Holmes as well. But yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, like my parent, I mean, well, especially my mom and my grandma sometimes did get called for like a parent teacher conference, mostly to discuss my grades or my behavior in school. So I guess you could say I was kind of a troublemaker, but it mostly had to do with my, I guess, I don't know, my ADHD because I was really hyper. I mean, really hyper. I mean, both home and school. And I think the reason I acted out so much was because I felt like some of the teachers I like to pick on me. Like I was the one who was always singled out because they say that the saying that some teachers will literally single out a certain student to pick on. Like that's going to be their target or something. And I always felt like I was always the target, and I was, and so I don't know. Maybe it was had do something like that why I acted out so much. Not to mention some of the other students, some of my classmates actually would kind of like encourage me to act out. So yeah, so I think I had to once write an essay about who my hero was, and I remember writing one about my late brother shortly after he passed. Aw, I mean, well, that's pretty awesome. I actually wrote an essay about David Attenborough when I was younger. This was back like in middle school though. This was like 2004, maybe, or it may have been like early high school. Oh no, it was around the time that I was like really big into nature documentaries. David Attenborough. Be good, Shallow. I said, don't even talk about grades. That's basically how I'll be honest with you. I had good grades in some subjects, but when I say some subjects, it was mostly like language arts, uh, reading, English. I guess you could say. Most of my good grades always had to do with reading and spelling. But anything else, I mean, well, I guess I kind of tried to get good grades in science, and sometimes I did, like especially because when it came to science, I was more into animal science and biology, so I found that stuff kind of fascinating. But whenever we do subjects like on the human body and I don't know, like things like that, or like splitting atoms, or I don't know, just the whole, I guess, technical, like I guess that part of science that you have to do a lot of math is what I basically kind of failed at because math was my worst subject in school. So when there's math involved in science as well, let's just say I kind of flunked that. But yeah, I mean, if all my classes had to do with like reading and spelling, like I feel like that was what it would have said like on my like yearbook photo or something like what I'm most likely to be. I think mine would have said something like most likely to win a spelling bee or something because I was always I don't know I was always fascinated with like English and language arts and uh, one of my favorite movies actually that I really got into, believe it or not, and I watched for the first time in drama class of all classes, believe it or not, was um was a movie called Aquila and the Bee, which is about a young African American girl who uh, took an interest in spelling and was a good speller and entered like spelling bees and things like that. So I don't know. I was always good at spelling and reading. That's one reason whenever the teacher would ask like class to read pages from a book, like from a story, either from a storybook or a chapter in some like textbook. I always volunteered to read because I don't know. It really drove me crazy when other students would be having trouble on a word and they'd be like, black. Oh no, I don't know. It just it's like speak like say it out like spell it out already. Like I mean, because I could read a full sentence like that, and so it really did bug me when. I mean, even though I know it's not all student, I mean, not all kids are, I guess, good at spelling, but I don't know. It really did kind of bug me when I could spell and read, and then other students would be stuttering a lot. I mean, when trying to get out certain words, so it's like it took forever just to read one sentence or one paragraph. Okay, let me go back in the comments. Okay, uh, okay. Elsa's, yeah, Raymond said, Alvin, do you know who I'm talking about? Actually, not exactly, which is weird. Uh, I mean, I think I've heard the name before, but Elsa, no, Raymond, who is John Holmes? Trish said John Holmes was famous for having a 12-inch such, literally a foot long. Oh, wait, Elsa. I would always compare my grades to one of my older brothers. He was the clever one in the family. I always felt intimidated and scared of him. Oh, wow. Well, I guess you could say I was younger than me, but the only reason I was intimidated by her was because she actually loved math in school and actually was pretty good at math. And then there was me that struggled with math pretty much my whole life. Like, I mean, I could do basic math like addition, like adding and subtracting and multiplying and some division, but when it comes to like decimals and algebra and geometry and things like that, I don't know. It's like I'll be honest with you. To compare how dumb I am when it comes to the stuff like that, is I don't even know up from down. It's that above my head. Raymond said, "Yes, I am." I mean, yes, he was. Elsa, lol, Trish. Elsa, English was my second language in school, but strangely, I did better in English than Afrikaans, which is my first language. How is that? Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, believe it or not, my ex girlfriend, who I always talk about the Filipino one, like her first language is called Tagalog, or I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but like I'm not. I've always tried to get it right. Because, I don't know. It's just her first language is like pretty much Filipino, like Tagalog, or I mean, I know this how it's like I guess spelled like, but but her second language was English, and she was more fluent in English than her first language. So I can actually understand. Like, I don't know, I actually think that's kind of bizarre and kind of interesting that in some nationalities and some communities and some countries, some people from those countries are actually better at the second language than their first language. I sucked in math. I sucked in math. That's why I never took it past the ninth grade. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, so I never took it. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm the same. Like I'm basically the same way when it comes to math. Like I don't know what it is. So I guess you could say I definitely could not become an accountant or anything. Like I basically need a calculator for everything if I'm trying to add up things. And believe it or not, I still sometimes count with my fingers because I'm like, it's hard for me to just, I don't know, come up with the answer to a problem in my head. Raymond said 1 plus 1 equals 3. Or even I know that is incorrect. Well, I told you I'm like good at like basic math. Like I know 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 2 plus 2 equals 4. Like things like that. Like even speaking to my grandma, this is actually kind of relevant. My grandma used to try to help me with math with like I guess those cards or something that would have like math problems on them, like but like, I'm trying to remember the name of those cards, but we had like a whole card collection of like math problems. My grandma used to help me with them, and there was one math problem that really stumped me, and I think it was 8 times 8, and for some reason I tried to add it up in my head or even with my fingers, and I still was having trouble with it. And then I finally got it, but it took me like 20 minutes or 20 or 30 minutes just on this one problem. But yeah, it was 8 times 8. Yeah, 64. Yeah, I was actually getting ready to say that 8 times 8 is 64. I don't know, for some reason that math problem really stumped me as a kid. Which is weird because it was easier for me to do math problems that involved like 5 plus 5 or 5 times 5 or 10 plus 10 or uh yeah, I mean or things like that, 10 plus 10 and 10 times 10. I mean, it was easier for me to round up to like fives and tens for some reason, but when it's like 6 or 7s or 8s or 9s, I'm like I've had trouble like 9 plus 9 before. I mean, like I know it's like 18, but there was a time I thought 9 plus 9 was like 16 or something, just from the top of my head. But I literally still need to use my fingers. Raymond said I can't add though. Yeah, Elsa, no, Raymond. 1 plus 1 equals 11. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Elsa. Like, oh no, Elsa, you're actually kind of clever, like me. That's basically how I did math problems. Like, I don't know, sometimes I even try to show off in front of my teacher or something. But then my teacher would be like, "That is incorrect," but good one. Like, I don't know, because just with the kids' mentality or the kids' mind. Like 1 plus 1 equals 11. That's funny. But yeah, even I was kind of crazy that we're just talking about math all of a sudden. I don't know, but it really was my worst subject in school. Like, it wasn't even funny. That's basically the subject in school that I almost always got D's or F's in. Like, I think it was math that was like, if it wasn't for math, like math in general, I believe it or not, this may sound crazy. I probably could have been a straight A student if only math was not something taught in school, because math is just, it always went over my head. But other things, like I was good at reading, I was good at spelling, I was really fascinated. Believe it or not, I used to carry a big dictionary with me all the time. Sometimes I would even go to the library and rent a dictionary or a World Book Encyclopedia. Like, that shows you just how much of a nerd I guess I really was. But yet I couldn't do math. Math always went above my head. I don't know, for some reason it was just numbers and in general, I guess. I don't know. Which is kind of ironic now that one of my favorite things to watch from YouTube is like top 10 lists and stuff. But even that, I mean, I can count back. Like, I can count backwards from 10. But yeah. Also, do you guys really have to dissect frogs and stuff in biology class? I took biology and we never had to do that. Even though it showed up Pookie again, like, oh no, it's just. I'll be honest with you. Yes, sometimes sometimes, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever actually had to do that, but we did kind of dissect. Well, I don't know if it was really considered dissecting, but let's just say in science class and biology class, there is some things that was like hands-on work that can actually be kind of disgusting. Like, so that's what's crazy is even though I love biology and love animal science and things like that, I'll be honest with you, there was some things in biology class that can gross you out. So basically, it's not for the faint of heart, if that makes sense. Abby says, "Oh hi Alvin, what's up with that title there?" Oh, I titled my stream this because well, I was going to be talking about some of my I guess frenemies I made over the years, and it was actually a song lyric from a Taylor Swift song called "The Arch Orbit." One of the lyrics was "All my enemies started out friends," and so I thought I would kind of go down memory lane of talk about some of the frenemies I've made over the years, especially going back to when my grandmother lived in an apartment complex back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And because believe it or not, my grandma and I kind of made quite a few frenemies, and not intentionally, they just, like, you'd be surprised how many friends I've made over the years since the late 90s, early 2000s that literally did turn on my family later on, or they talked about it about me or other people in my family behind our backs, or they just did something that was totally ridiculous, and we're no longer friends because of it. I would say, "Hey, I'm in school. I can help." It was you're just in time. We're talking about school. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're talking about school. How do you like talking about school, Elsa? Elsa, well, I mean, we're talking about the subject we loved and hated. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid, I think my favorite subjects in school before I really got into like spelling and reading and things like that was pretty much PE because I loved going outside, like I don't know, playing some kind of sports. Believe it or not, even though I'm not really a sports fanatic now, it's just I don't know. As a kid, I loved being active. I loved doing active things. Maybe it's because of all the energy I had as a kid, but and not to mention I made friends that way as well. And um, and I guess it also helped with my hyperactivity with my ADHD and things like that. But then my other favorite thing that was in school was pretty much like lunch. Like I don't know, for some reason I actually loved liked eating some of the cafeteria food when I was a kid. Even though I know some people like hate cafeteria food and things like that, but I don't know. I was always big with like food and playing and things like that. But I don't know. Maybe it was. I mean, I don't know. I started to get as I got older, like, and even though I say I was getting older, I was still like a little kid. But when I was like 7 or 8, I really took an interest to like reading and spelling and animals and dinosaurs, and like I could literally. Even my mom said when I was like 5 or 6, I could literally name off a lot of the dinosaurs. I was like in dinosaur encyclopedias and dinosaur books that even my mom couldn't pronounce because some of the dinosaurs in the books would be called something like Parasaurolophus or Deinonychus or Stegosaurus or Triceratops. and and then of course, where I guess in the most popular dinosaur of all, Tyrannosaurus Rex. But I don't know. It's just I could name off these dinosaurs that just like I don't know. It was so easy, but my mom was like how do you pronounce that? but uh, but yeah. So I guess you could say I was a little hyperactive nerdy kid, if that makes sense. Let's see. Abby said, "Oh, today was the first day of freshman." Oh, yeah. I think it was the first day of school back uh, for some kids, some students. Yeah, Abby said, "God, the Spanish for native stresses me out." Raymond was a greaser probably. LOL. So, no, I had it, so I showed it. Uh, hmm. Also, I don't understand when you guys talk about being a freshman or any of that stuff. We are very straightforward over here. One primary score from grade 1 to 7, and high school from grade 8 to 12. Well, to be honest, I can understand that also because even my ex girlfriend. I mean, sometimes she would tell me stories about when she was like in school and things like that, and I don't know. I mean, like she would tell me because she didn't understand why there was like a freshman or sophomore or things like that because I think like I'm trying to remember what how she described it, but like same thing. Like she wasn't the only like Filipino that I kind of met online. There was another one I actually talked to, and even and when I would talk about how like the seasons, like oh I'm so glad spring is here, I'm so glad summer is here, or so glad it's fall, or so glad it's winter, so things like that. And I think she said that over there in the Philippines, they don't really have what I guess we call seasons. Like, or I guess they do, but it's different there because over there it's they have the wet season and the dry season, and even those seasons are even different. So when it's like summer here where I live, it's I don't know, kind of like getting close to winter over there, or when it's summer over there, it's only like spring here or the start of spring here. Because I remember how her school um, let out like I guess for like summer vacation or summer break was like in March, which I thought was very weird, considering over here that like start of summer break, summer vacation was like literally right after Memorial Day, which is like late May. Yeah, Abby says elementary pre-K or kindergarten through fifth grade, middle school sixth to eighth, high school 9 to 12, freshman, junior, sophomore, senior. Yeah, that's how it is over here too. Well, I mean, well, I guess you're in the states as well. So yeah, Abby. Bam said, "Where did Trish go?" Oh yeah, I'm wondering that. Maybe she's still cooking hot chili. Abby said, "We live in the same country, Alvin." Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I don't know. It's just I'm talking to quite a few people, and I know that a lot of the people that me and Trish usually talk to are like from all over the world. Like, oh yeah, hey country fan, hi. And Trish said, "Still here? Yes, still cooking, almost done." Oh, that's awesome, Trish. I said, "Hey country fan." Oh yeah, hey country. Oh yeah, yeah, country fan already said that, but yeah, what's with the title? Oh, I just thought I would talk about well, it's just kind of a relatable topic, like that Trish and I have kind of just, I mean, talked about lately. And yes, it is a Taylor reference. I mean, get Abby, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a very relatable lyric and a very relatable like scenario and line and everything. Like all my enemies started out as friends, so I kind of thought I would talk about some of my frenemies that I made over the years. And I know I haven't really got to it yet, but we've been talking about school, and I don't know. Well, believe it or not, I think I kind of made a couple frenemies with some teachers. I mean, if we're gonna talk about like school and even some classmates, like actually, I could talk about one right now. That was a friend. I actually made a friend back in school. His name was James, and well, believe it or not, I've actually been friends with two Jameses. But this James I'm talking about is he was always in like we pretty much went the same grade and we had the same teachers like both in like fourth grade and fifth grade back in elementary school. And I was I don't know, I thought that we were friends, and then I think it was the start of middle school when I was like in sixth grade or seventh. It was I think it was actually seventh grade. My grandmother's car broke down, so we weren't able. So she wasn't able to take me to school because she was my regular ride to school back in like elementary school, and middle school was my grandma, and she had like a green Oldsmobile. Like, oh my god, it's just I'm getting nostalgic again about her, about my grandma's car, because I'll be honest with you, I thought grandma's car was the coolest thing back in the early 2000s when she got it, because she got her car in 2002. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, it's just but because my grandma's car broke down, this was like back in like 2003. I mean, it was like my I think my aunt or my uncle was gonna fix it, help fix my grandma's car. But while my grandma's car was broke down, the school was just starting, and so I had to take like the bus uh, every day before school. But before I started taking the bus, I actually was riding with a friend that lived down the street, who I was just talking about, James, because he actually lived right down the street from where my parents were living at the time, which, believe it or not, was actually just a block away from my grandmother's apartment. So I was literally in walking distance of both my mom and my grandma. Yeah. Abby says that those cicadas and it's daylight over there where Alvin is. How strange. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, the sun's actually starting to go down. Like, I don't know if you can see it in the background, but yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to actually explain it. It's just the sun's still not going down here over here until like 8:30. We're actually at 7:53 for me. I Whenever I post in the fan club or anything like that, what time I'm gonna go live. I always use Trisha's time because I feel like that's the most familiar time. So I say 8ish or something because with Trisha's it would have literally been 8, and now it's getting ready to be 9 with Trisha's. Um, but I'm actually an hour behind her, so I'm like an hour earlier. So sorry if it's confusing you, but yeah, the sun is just it's starting to slowly go down. It's not completely dark yet. Yeah, Elsa, the sun goes down very late for you. Yeah, that's true, Elsa. Yeah, but but yeah, whereas I was saying, if I get back to the story, it's just my friend James. I started writing the score with him uh, a few times, and I don't know. I don't know. He started kind of, I guess, kind of picking on me, or it's almost like he was insulting me, but in like a civil manner, if that makes sense. I don't know. He would just say things, and I don't know. It really did kind of hurt my feelings. Just some of the things he said, because like even he had his own problems and his own life and everything, but he was saying things about me like that. Because I was like in special ed classes, because I that was another thing in school. I wasn't always just in like regular elective classes, like I actually did kind of have a learning disability, believe it or not. So I actually did get assigned to like some special ed classes, and I don't know, he was kind of teasing me because of that or something. And I don't know, just within a year's time or so, we kind of like lost touch, and I just I don't know. So I guess in a way, he kind of turned into one of my first frenemies, believe it or not. This was back in like 2003, 2004. I've also another one of my childhood best friends was actually this, I guess, Hispanic kid. We're actually him and his brother. The names were Shafox and Refox, and they actually lived over at the apartment complex that my grandmother used to live at. And I was friends with them, and I would used to go over to their apartment and play video games. It's just Fox's older brother, who was also friends with, was believe it well was actually deaf, believe it or not, and so he would use sign language to kind of talk to me. But I was kind of, I don't know, I was very interested in the sign language, and I don't know, just him. I mean, as a person, I thought he was like one of my best friends, and I would always invite him to come over to my grandmother's apartment and play video games. And how he would sign, like play video games, he would be like this, be like like I don't know, like he was trying to talk to me. But and sometimes I would even I don't want to say like impersonate or anything, or make fun of him. It wasn't that I was making fun. So, but I don't know. I kind of did kind of, I guess, imitate his behavior or some of the things he would do in front of my grandma, and my grandma would tell me to stop it because, like, even though I guess, kind of had some mental problems of myself or mental disorders, she was like, "I'm not deaf or anything like that, so don't pretend to be more mentally challenged than I already am or something." I don't know. It was weird, but I let's just say I had some of the weirdest but coolest friends as a kid. But I always felt like I was an easy target because a lot of my friends as a kid would actually get me into dangerous scenarios, like dangerous situations, because they would introduce me to another one of their friends. And because of my mental disorders, or because I was different than most kids my age, they would, and not to mention I was also the smallest kid, pretty much the smallest kid in my class, and I guess I was very small for my age, and so I was always an easy target. And sometimes my friends would introduce me to another one of their friends who literally wants to beat me up for some reason. I don't know, maybe they felt threatened by me because I was their friend as well, or like their friend's friend. It was a really weird scenario. So let's just say, as a kid, I had my share of bullies and got beat up almost on a daily basis, believe it or not. And I'm not even sugarcoating or like exaggerating. I literally did, let's just say, as a kid, I literally did cry, like run crying to my grandma or my mom several different times. It was pretty bad. Even my mom or my grandma had to confront those kids' parents because of how they treated me. But okay, I'm trying to read back in comments here. Okay. Obviously, different states, different suns. Yeah, I guess that's true, Abby. Also, I meant for Alvin, the sun goes down very late. Emphasis. They need to replace those sun's batteries. Said, a right hook would have helped. Abby said, yeah, when I was younger, I had to read with a lady because I had dyslexia. Do you have that? I grew out of mine. Well, I don't know if I actually had dyslexia. It was, I guess you could say, I just, because of some of my mental disabilities or disorders, I would walk and talk different than most people, I guess. I guess you could, well, as my mom put it, I pretty much marched to my own drum. Like, I mean, actually, my mom was actually told that by a psychic when I was like 3 or 4. Believe it or not, like my mom actually did contact some psychic she saw on TV or something, and they had told her something about me before she even knew about my mental disabilities or anything. When I was on like 3 or 4, that I marched to my own drum or I marched to a different beat or something like that. So I guess it's kind of cool. Just thinking back. Like I don't actually remember that, but I don't know. I just think that was a cool story my mom would always tell me. Let's see. I said, and the sun will be coming up for me in about 3.5 hours time. That's a whole other sun we're talking about. I says, "Ha, you have a very lazy son." I said, "Must be, LOL." And then Abby says, "Need his beauty rest." Oh, okay. You don't have dyslexia. Oh, I'm just sorry. Oh, yeah, yes. Sorry. I mean, it's. I mean, I have my own thing, but it's kind of different. Okay. Trista, now I'm sweating and my mouth is on fire. The chili is perfect. Okay, sorry if I guess kind of broke all, like, oh no, broke all your drums or something. I just got really loud there. I was this recipe now. I said, LOL, Trish. And then Raymond said, I knew it, Trish. And then Trish says, LOL. And what you doing, Shiloh? What's the plan? Shiloh the Milo. But yeah, like sorry if I was like rambling on about like past events. It's just this time of year, almost every year, I get really nostalgic around this time of year. I guess mostly because a lot of things that happened to me did kind of happen around September ish or the start of fall. Like I know that we're still in summertime, but if you really think about it, we're literally on like our last few weeks of summer. Shallow, leave her alone. Country, he sure loved being on camera. Yeah, maybe. Country. I was just, and grow that tolerance for the next time you trip. Really need a good boy. Of the pie. Oh, put some of that chili on your foot. It would burn the crap out of the uh, burn the crap out of the pain. Ouch. That sounds painful, Elsa. God, that was actually hilarious. But yeah, so I guess you could say some of my first frenemies I remember having were literally childhood best friends, believe it or not. Like, or kids or other kids that I went to school with who lived at the same apartment complex that my grandma did, or lived down the same street that my mom did, that my family did. I was like, some kind of injury is just around the corner. That's true, Elsa. Even just as LOL, you're probably right, Elsa. But yeah, I think my cats really do love being on camera. They're always in the background trying to like, I guess, photo bomb me or video, like live stream bomb me. Like even Shiloh's just looking at me. It's like feed my. Raymond said, "Got a can of chili." I says, "Maybe you should try and do backflips next time, like I suggested." LOL. Oh yeah, baby. Hmm. And just said, "LOL." Hmm. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, even just says giggity, giggity, goo, giggity, yes. But yeah, it's just thinking back, like I guess on some of the frenemies that I made over the years. That it's just think that was a story. But believe it or not, even as a kid or as a teenager, I would say, believe it or not, I actually made frenemies with neighbors that lived like pretty much lived close by where my grandma lived, like lived in the same apartment complex. And these people were like already in the 30s or 40s or 50s. So just picture that. I'm like a teenager, like 16, 17 years old. And my worst enemy is a 50-year-old man. Like, and that's a true story. Like, I'm getting ready to get into that story, because that, in my opinion, that was the worst frenemy experience I've ever really had. Even to this day, when I think about it, it's just that was the craziest like horror movie type of scenario. It was so bad. I actually had plans of writing a book about it, and I still even may write a book about that time in my life, because it was like even my mom and my grandma actually kind of encouraged me to write, to pretty much write a book, like a not like a nonfiction book about certain times in my life, because it was like that crazy. Because there was a time when my family actually was kind of like scared for the life, because it was like, what is this guy up to? What is this guy gonna do? It literally was. I literally did live next door to someone who pretty much reminded me a lot of the bad guy, or the serial killer that from that was in the movie Disturbia, which also starred Shia LaBeouf. Since we mentioned that one movie Shia LaBeouf was in last night in Trish's stream, Hose. But yeah, like Shia LaBeouf was like one of my favorite actors back in the 2000s. But yeah, he was in a movie called Disturbia, and I think the reason I love that movie so much was because I felt like I could relate. That I literally had been in a similar situation like Shia LaBeouf's character in that movie, except I wasn't on house arrest or anything. Although those times I thought maybe, I mean, I probably did feel like I was, because I literally felt like there was a time I felt like I couldn't even leave the apartment. I couldn't leave my grandma's apartment, or I couldn't leave my house, because there was this guy that like I thought we were friends with, and then he became like, I don't know, it, almost like the devil in disguise. Like, okay, we're gonna try to read back some of those comments. Okay, Raymond said, I gave you a thumbs up, Alvin." Oh yeah, thank you, Raymond." Raymond said, "Hey, I'm over 50." Well, I mean, well, I'm not like singling out like people over 50. It's just I was only friends with a 50. Well, I think at the time, well, believe it or not, I think at the time he was actually Trisha's age when I first became friends with him. He was like 47, 48 when my sisters and I met him. And it's just, we thought he was a friend. We even considered him kind of like an uncle at one time. In fact, he actually, I think, okay, this may sound a bit creepy, but I think he actually did bring up one time that he wanted us to call him our uncle. Like it's like almost like he was trying to adopt like my family, or he wanted my family to adopt him or something. It was really weird and creepy, but at the time I was a teenager, but my sisters were still little kids. My sisters were like my youngest sister at the time was like 8, and then my sister Amy, who always comes by and visits like every other week, every other weekend, was like 10 at the time. Wait. Oh no, sorry if I get up for a minute. I think I need to feed my cats. Though, kind of going crazy. So yeah, if you can see, you can tell that the sun's starting to go down in the background. Like, yeah. Okay, Elsa. Yeah, I had that movie Disturbia. That next door neighbor was creepy. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like, I'll be honest with you, I literally have been in a very similar scenario, which I thought was weird because that movie came out in 2007. And that was like a year after my grandmother had already moved from the apartment complex that she was living at. But the guy I'm getting ready to really like talk about, and the guy I've been talking about the last few minutes, he was still kind of stalking my family in 2007 when that movie came out, and so I don't know, for some reason I still love that movie Disturbia. That movie, like, even though the guy was creepy, it's just maybe I think it was probably that movie why I thought maybe I should write a book about my experience with like a creepy neighbor. It's just I don't know. But yeah, Country Friend said Disturbia, great movie. But yeah. Yeah, I always laugh when Shia LaBeouf's character goes looking for his mom and he calls his mom while looking at the wall with a flashlight. Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I love the movie Disturbia. Even to this day, I can't believe that movie is like 12 years old now because it came out in 2007. And it's now 2019, and that movie, like, I'll be honest with you, that movie is timeless in my opinion. And I don't care how much technology is advanced since then, or how much like music is like more modernized since then. I feel like that movie is timeless on its own, even though it probably does have its own outdated, like, I guess, like advertising and stuff, like I guess like the music that was in the movie and like just things like that. But yeah. But in my opinion, I can still watch that movie today, and I'll still be like, "Oh my god, this movie is great." Even though the movie did have its own sad scenes, and like, I'll be honest with you, I love the movie Disturbia as much as my mom loved the movie Titanic. Like, because my mom's favorite movie was Titanic, and my one of my favorite movies of all time has always been Disturbia. So, I mean, at least since it came out in 2007. I said movies can be good without any special effects. It just needs a good storyline. Yeah, I agree with that, Elsa. Like, it's kind of crazy because that movie came out the same year. Like, Disturbia came out in 2007, the same year that Shia LaBeouf's other big blockbuster movie came out, Transformers. When Shia LaBeouf started doing the Transformers movies, which some people consider that movie series, like Michael Bay films, like really, I guess, kind of bad in a way. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of liked them back then. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. Country Fits. I laugh when Shia called Kid's mom about dirty movies. Oh yeah, yeah. I love that scene at the end of Disturbia. Like, I'll be honest with you, those kids reminded me like the kids that were watching those I guess dirty movies. It actually reminded me of me and my cousin. But back when I was like 16, 17, and he was like 10, 11 or so. I mean, we would sometimes we would watch dirty movies together or things like that, which you'd think is weird, but we would do it kind of behind our parents' backs, and he was really dirty minded. Like, believe it or not, my cousin, like, I mean, Well, I mean, I have several cousins, so I can't really say he's the cousin I'm always talking about because I also have another cousin who takes me or pretty much helps me with my getting my groceries every week. But with that particular cousin, like he's a male cousin, and he's like a few years younger than me. But yeah, we kind of had a really close like bond experience when we were younger, which brings me to the point like I think he kind of fits that whole frenemies scenario because even my sisters and I don't really have anything to do with him anymore. Like it's almost like he has distanced himself from most people in our family. Um, let's see. Oh yes, Chris, that was funny. Tristan, best movie ever, Titanic. Elsa said, "No, Titanic sucks." Elsa said, "Titanic is like Taylor's music. I'd rather watch paint dry." Raymond said, "Titanic was all wet behind the ears." Elsa said, "Hello, Raymond." but yeah, but yeah, I guess I'll talk about this guy. So there was this guy when my grandma lived at Potomac House Apartments, which she lived for 9 years from September of 1997 to September of 2006. It was actually September 2nd, 2006, when my grandmother moved out and into a nursing home for the first time. But back in like 2000, it was like late 2003, early 2004. Uh, this guy moved in upstairs above my grandmother's apartment, and his name is Tony. And which I don't feel weird saying the same now, like because I mean, like I told you, I may name drop some people like that's in my frenemies list. As long as it was like over 10 years ago, like nothing recent, so it's like kind of all blew over. But yeah, his name's Tony, and he basically made friends with me and my sisters because sometimes he would see us outside, and we would be like riding our bikes or riding our like roller skates, like outside on the cement on the sidewalk. And he also had like his own like chair or something that he would sit on like outside of like in front of his apartment, and he lived upstairs, and my grandma lived downstairs, and so he was like literally right above us. When I was in my grandma's apartment, I could literally hear him walking. Like you think that Trish can hear her neighbors walking all around? I mean, I always could hear Tony, but but yeah, this guy he smoked and drank. He kind of like, but I think he rolled his own like cigarettes and stuff. I don't know if he had really like bought his own. He had like his own like rolling tobacco or something. But like because he believe it or not, he actually did invite my sister's night into his apartment before, which you know most people be like, that's no. Why would you walk into a stranger's house? But at the time, because at the time we weren't even friends with him that long. We literally probably only known him a couple weeks, and we were already going inside his apartment, which sounds really crazy. But we would do it behind our grandma's back. Like one time, my grandma actually did get kind of upset or pissed because because my sister Amy and I were spending the night with my grandma, and then my grandma would wake up in the middle of the night and she couldn't find us, and it would be like 4 in the morning, and we were upstairs in Tony's apartment playing games because we would play like Monopoly or or like some card games like War or Go Fish, like things like that, or blackjack or slapjack, things like that, or even poker. Like let's just say my sisters and I were kind of that mischievous. I don't know because at the time I guess you could say we weren't like, really afraid of bad things happening to us, which sounds a little weird. Like I mean, because maybe we thought we were always in control of every situation. But even my sister and I kind of had a talk lately about it. I mean, because I even asked Amy if she thinks that growing up, if she feels like we were sheltered, and and if she thought, and if she believed our parents were overprotective over us. And even my sister said, in her own words, that she feels to a point we were sheltered, but at the same time, we did. I guess in a way but I guess in another scenario we weren't all that sheltered because we did see some things as a kid. As a kid, we probably shouldn't have seen, and our dad did rent horror movies from the video store like Blockbuster. He'd watch them in the living room and sometimes we watched those as family movies. Like, believe it or not, we actually watched horror movies as a kid. Like me and my sisters, because my dad would rent them from the video store, and that's what we would be watching. And but even Amy told me the other day when she was here that that there's a difference between being protective and possessive. And she said our mom was protective over us, but our dad was possessive. Our dad basically would ground us or keep us in the house or this or that because he wanted to show that he was macho and he was the king of the castle or something. It wasn't that he was actually protective over us. He wanted to pretty much show that he's the boss and he tells us what to do and he gets to boss us around and treat us like servants. Because even he treated my mom like that, or our mom like that. He treated me like that, and my sisters. Even though he favored our youngest sister, Megan, over me and Amy. So yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to read back some of these comments. Yeah. Raymond said, oh yeah, Titanic was all wet behind the ears. And Elsa laughed at that. And even Trish laughed. Raymond said, you was bad. Elsa said, hope it wasn't strip poker. Oh no, it wasn't strip poker. Elsa, I guess you could say it was kind of like just regular like Texas Hold'em. Like, cause we even had like a manual, like of how to play poker. And because even my sisters and I did eventually buy like a whole poker set, and it had like chips that we could use as like I guess you could say like gambling. Like, so we weren't like gambling like extra money or anything. It was like just chips. Like there would be like red chips and white chips. Like this chip, like these, like the red chips were worth like $10, and then the white chips were worth like $5 or something like that. It was something very similar to that. So it was kind of like a kid's game, like a kid's version of poker that we would play. But yeah. Raymond said, "I like poke, huh?" Interesting. I was never bad. I was good. I was always good. I was the best kid my parents had. Yeah. Well, I guess you could say I was kind of a bit of both. But now that I think about it, I don't think me and my sisters were all that good. We all did crazy things that got us in trouble one way or another. True. Uh, I said, I bet you do, Raymond. I also said, LOL, yeah, right, Trish. Trish said, I really was. I said, you may not believe this, but my mom said I was the worst teenager of all the 7 children. And I'm like, what did I do that was so bad? I didn't even go anywhere. I hardly ever spoke, damn it. And then there was me who spoke too much, I guess, because I was always a very talkative kid. Even my mom would nickname me Broken Record. Like, I was like a broken record. I was always talking. And I wouldn't shut up. I said, really, Trish, I thought you were being sarcastic. But yeah, so my sister's not, well, I guess you could kind of exclude Megan or younger sister because it was mostly just me and Amy that went upstairs to our friend Tony's apartment and played board games or card games with him. And this is back like early 2004, early to mid 2004. Uh, and believe it or not, this may actually be something that like sounds very familiar. I mean, I guess to even to Trish and Elsa is the fact that it was also around this time that Shania Twain announced that she was going to be releasing her greatest hits album, which I remember I was so excited. I was like, because I'll be honest with you, because I got into Shania in 2003. That's when I was like really big fan, and I wanted to buy like all her CDs. But I noticed that a lot of that some of my favorite artists had already released like greatest hits albums, and I just felt so disappointed that Shania didn't have a greatest hits album. And so it was almost like the time that I was thinking like I wish Shania would release a greatest hits album, and then all of a sudden she does. 2004, and I was just so happy. It's also kind of crazy that I think both Shania and Britney Spears, believe it or not, released their very first greatest hits albums like the exact same week, or it may have even been the same day, like November 9th. Like I think it was like November 9th, 2004, when Shania released the greatest hits album, and also Britney Spears did as well. So I thought that was really cool because I was like really big, like both me and my sister Amy were really big into Shania and Britney back in 2004. And so I remember I bought Shania Twain's greatest hits. Where actually my grandma bought Shania Twain's greatest hits album for me in like November of that year in 2004 when Shania released her greatest hits album, and then my sister Amy bought, my mom bought Amy Britney Spears' greatest hits album. Uh, that like that same day, so I thought that was really cool that both Shania and Britney were releasing greatest hits albums around the same time. So I don't know. I felt that was very convenient. Not to mention that was also the same year. 2004 was also the year that I started high school, and so now that I just feel really nostalgic. 2004 was a really good year in a way, and yet it was also crazy because there was a bunch of crazy shit that happened that year. Um, but back in 2004, I really didn't have a problem with Tony. Tony like seemed like a really good guy, like a good friend, even though he was like 47, 48 at the time, and I was only like 15, like 14, 15. Oh yeah, I was 15, and Amy was like 9, and then Megan was like 7. Like I don't know, I'm trying to do the math in my head. See, I told you I'm terrible at math, so I'm trying to. It's just my sisters are like 2 years apart. We're I guess more like 18 months apart. So I don't know, it's close to 2 years, because my sister Amy was actually born on March 8th, 1995, and then my sister Megan was born. Oh, okay. So it was actually over 2 years. Because my sister Megan was born on in October of 1997. So I'm See, I told you, even to this day, math still just, oh, it still gets to me. Yeah, that's the thing. I might be terrible at math, but I sure as hell can remember dates. See, that's the crazy thing. I can remember dates, and I can remember them really specifically sometimes too. If it's certain times of the day that certain things happen. But when it has to do with the whole adding thing, for some reason, math just it's like my brain can't like I can't compute or something. But yeah, I was just disappointed that a few songs were cut short on Shania's greatest hits and some songs that made. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I felt the same way. And this may sound crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's because I still had the mind of a kid or a child back then. But one thing that I'll be honest with you, I at first when I heard some of the songs were short, I literally was like, I think something's wrong with my Shania Twain greatest hits CD. I thought maybe it was a a dysfunction or something. I didn't know that Shania had actually did that on purpose, like had to shorten songs, or that Mutt did because I don't know, because both Shania and Mutt were still like working together back then. But I mean, and still together as a married couple and everything. So I don't know. I don't know whose idea that was, or if they had to just do that because I knew. Because I also heard CDs can only hold so many minutes. So because I said that I think said like one of the longest CDs at the time was like 80 minutes. So maybe that's why they had to shorten some of the songs so they wouldn't go over like the 80-minute mark or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I always thought it was weird, like why CDs can only hold so many songs. Like, yeah, Tristan, it's actually a little freaky, and I have honestly wondered. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess they did it because they had to fit in 21 songs into an 80-minute CD. Yeah, yeah. That's actually that was actually I didn't see your comment yet. I was when I was just saying that, but yeah, that's basically what I was saying because I did notice that because when I listened to CDs, or sometimes I would even buy blank CDs back in like 2005, 2000 or 2006, and I would like burn CDs and like I would buy like blank CDs like CDRs, and they could only hold up to like 80 minutes. So I guess at that time there was no such thing as like a 90-minute CD or a 100-minute CD, or if there was, it was like really expensive or something. I'm not exactly sure how CDs work. Even to this day, I still don't understand why CDs can only hold so many songs or so many minutes. But yeah, just said, hey, now I used to burn CDs and I would put 21 or sometimes 22 songs on one CD. Yeah, I would too. I mean, because sometimes you can squeeze 22 songs onto a CD if it doesn't hit like the 80-minute mark. Um, but yeah, Blake, this may sound crazy. I remember the very first song I ever burned to a CD, and it was actually the song "Guys Do It All the Time" by Mindy McCready. That was the very first song that I ever burned to a CD, and the very first song I ever bought online. Like, because I think I bought it like on iTunes or something back in like 2005 or so. But that was basically the very first song I ever, I guess, bought and burned to a CD. If you're not counting like actually going to the store and buying a CD, but yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why CDs can't be longer than 80 minutes. With today's technology, you'd think they can do better than that. Yeah, yeah, I actually agree, Elsa. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I told you tonight's stream is probably going to be very nostalgic because I keep thinking of the things I was into in 2004. Just because I'm talking about this guy that my sisters and I became friends with, that lived upstairs above our grandma's apartment, and I'll be honest with you, I could probably give you a rundown of a lot of things I was into in 2004. So this will give you an idea of what my favorite things were in 2004. And I just realized that kind of rhymed how I said that. What my favorite things were in 2004. But yeah, they included Shania Twain, Britney Spears, Avril Lavigne, and then pretty much a lot of like country artists like Toby Keith, Tim McGraw, Joe Nichols, Kenny Chesney, Keith Urban, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, and Reba McEntire, and the list goes on there, and even Minnie McCready, as I said. But then if we go into like movies and TV shows, see, this was a territory I was like really into. I also wanted to point out in 2004, I was also into the band No Doubt, which the lead singer is Gwen Stefani, who's actually in a relationship with who has been in a relationship with Blake Shelton for the last few years, which I did not see coming. See, that's what's kind of crazy. I've always been a huge Gwen Stefani fan, and then Gwen Stefani hooks up with Blake Shelton back like 2015 after him and Miranda Lambert like break up and get divorced. Like, so I thought that was very interesting. But oh, and I was also into Pink, who is actually who was one of my mom's favorite modern singers. Uh, but now, but yeah, movies. Oh yeah, 2004. I'm trying to get like okay, 2004. I loved movies like Elf, The Butterfly Effect, um, Mean Girls, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. Like pretty much anything Lindsay Lohan was in. Like I'll be honest with you, 2004, I also had a poster of Lindsay Lohan on my grandma's bedroom wall. Like I thought that was really interesting. And before that, before I had that Lindsay Lohan poster there, I actually had a poster, like an old Burger King, Pokemon poster on the wall. But I think it kind of got tore up or something. But yeah, 2004, I was always wanting to go to like Toys R Us or Walmart. I mean, to buy like CDs and DVDs and um, music. And but yeah, I was really into Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, because Lindsay Lohan actually released her debut album that year. Which get this, I actually think Lindsay Lohan's actually starting trying to make a musical comeback. There's rumors going around that she has a new single coming out soon or something, called Xanax or something like that. I don't know. So I don't know, I'm kind of curious because I haven't heard Lindsay Lohan like sing in years. So I just thought that was kind of a fun fact since we're talking about 2004. But yeah, trying to think. But yeah, there was a lot of movies that came out in 2004 that I just really loved. Oh, that was also the year that I think Jeepers Creepers 2 came out because I know we were talking about Jeepers Creepers 1. Uh, the like the other day, like, and you said I remember I was just saying something like Jeepers Creepers creeped me out or something. But oh yeah, I think there was also Final Destination 2 came out around then as well. And I was also into like the Scary Movie franchise because I think the newest one at the time was like Scary Movie 3. But yeah, 2004 was also the year that Jim Carrey was a really big actor, and some of I think the previous year in 2003 he released Bruce Almighty, and then 2004 he was in the movie Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, which I thought was really good. Okay, I'm trying to read back on comments here so I don't miss anything. Okay, I said I still do that, Trish. Make my own mixes like we used to do with cassette tapes. Trish said I would, but my CD burner messed up. Damn it! Elsa said, "Really? Can't you do it on any other laptops?" And Trish says, "Spider webs." No, my burner was on my desktop again. I bought a ton of movies way back then. I guess you could say I did too. Where actually it was 2005, believe it or not, when my family got our very first really good computer, and it was an HP desktop computer, and I think that was when I learned about burning movies and shows and music. So so yeah, it wasn't until 2005 when I started, I guess, diving into the whole, I guess, like burning movies, TV shows, things like that. Also said, you can remember things from 2004. Heck, I can't even remember what I did yesterday. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Also, well, I'll be honest with you. Certain things that happened in my life, I can remember from. I basically what how I remember is I remember what I was doing or the things that came out during that whole year because it's almost maybe I have a photographic memory. But yeah, just thinking about 2004, I can literally think of a year and just think about how my life was like back then during that year, and I will start to realize I mean like I know pretty much everything that I was really into that year. Like, although I think my favorite movie back then in 2004 was was Mean Girls. I was really into the movie. Even my mom loved that movie, Mean Girls, with Lindsay Lohan. But I was just talking about that Lindsay Lohan. Like, I don't know, that makes it feel very nostalgic because Lindsay Lohan's not really that big of an actress or a singer now. But back in 2004, Lindsay Lohan was everywhere. Like, you heard about her like on Disney Channel, or even see like advertisements of movies that she was starring in, like in Walmart, or if you were to walk into a Blockbuster. Oh, which reminds me, Blockbuster. That reminds me of another movie that came out in 2004 that I was really into. It was Ella Enchanted with Anne Hathaway. Oh my god, I loved that movie. But yeah, Raven said scary movies and thunderstorms. Yeah, actually, speaking of thunderstorms, there was some really crazy thunderstorms that happened while my grandma still lived at Potomac House Apartments, and my sister and I would be spending the night with her, and the storm would cause the power to go out, and it would freak us the hell out. Like my sister Amy and I had quite a few shares of scares when we were younger. Yeah, Elle said, "Fix it, Trish. You can fix anything." Oh yeah. Now I know what Trish is saying. Spiderwebs, no doubt. Oh yeah, no doubt did have a song called Spiderwebs. Yeah, I would think my favorite. I mean, well, at least I assume that's what you're talking about, Trish. But yeah, I don't know. It's just when you say no doubt, it's just I don't know. I start getting in my head that I mean, no doubt has a lot of my favorite songs. Like, because I'll be honest with you, I actually bought like I know that I said that was also the year that I bought my first my first DVD, which I actually told Elsa and you guys in an earlier stream, I think within the past week or so. I think I said my the very first DVD I ever bought was, believe it or not, Shania Twain's Up Live in Chicago DVD. Oh yeah, Trish said yes. I said that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't know if you were talking about actual spider webs or something else. But when you said no doubt, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, my sister Megan's favorite song back then in 2004 or so was actually a song by No Doubt called Underneath It All. Yeah, Underneath It All. Oh my god, that song. Even my sister Amy will sometimes play that song. In fact, she rediscovered that song not too long ago, like so many months or weeks ago when she was over visiting, and she actually started playing the song on the laptop. Before she started playing it, she said I'm about to play something that you probably haven't heard in years, but I'm really into it right now because I heard it on like the Walmart radio at work, and I don't know, I've been feeling like very nostalgic. And so she played Underneath It All by No Doubt, like over and over. And it made me feel like I was back in like 2003, 2004. But yeah, okay, good for that. Underneath is my favorite song by No Doubt. Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy that I was just talking about Underneath It All, Catch Fan. Yeah, I am trained in the art of origami. Paper folding. I was hoping you didn't know what that was. That's from Ella Enchanted. Yes, I knew that was from Ella Enchanted. Yes, Ella Enchanted. That movie. Like, I'll be honest with you. I think that's probably one of the best movies made this century. Like, just in the 21st century. Like, I know that sounds like really crazy and everything, but Ella Enchanted. That movie, I still think that movie is timeless. Like I think that's one of my favorite Cinderella story type movies. Which brings me to the point that in 2004, Hilary Duff starred in her own Cinderella story, which was literally called a Cinderella story. And her love interest in the movie was played Chad Michael Murray, which I thought was really awesome because Chad Michael Murray had also starred in Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan like the year before, which brings me to the whole point where believe it or not, one of the first celebrity feuds that I ever really noticed as a kid or when I was younger was between Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan. Like, I'll be honest with you, the feud, the celebrity feud of like the early 2000s, where I guess you could say Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan was like, oh no, their feud was very similar to pretty much Taylor Swift and Katy Perry's feud of the last few years, which finally did get squashed. Like the beef did get squashed, and there's no more bad blood and things like that. But there was a feud between Hillary Duff and Lindsay Lohan that I thought was really kind of funny, because I think it all had to do with a guy that they both dated, which was Aaron Carter, which I thought was really interesting. So, which also brings me to the point: 2004 was also when Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were also still doing movies. I think that was around the year that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen released a movie called well, I think they had a movie called like New York Minute and When in Rome or things like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just when I think of 2004, it's just there was so many good movies that came out that year. Like that's probably one of the most nostalgic years for movies and even TV shows. Because 2004 was also when That's Raven was really big, and I think Lizzie McGuire was just ending. Like I think Lizzie McGuire uh, aired its like final episode in like February of 2004, so it was actually right around my birthday of that year. Yeah. Good friend said Lindsay Lohan one time looked hot. Now it's like, yeah, I actually agree. I actually had a crush on Lindsay Lohan. That's why I had a big poster of her on my grandmother's bedroom wall, which is kind of funny when you think about it because my grandmother had to look at this poster of Lindsay Lohan every time when she woke up or something. But it was a picture of Lindsay Lohan, like holding a guitar behind her back. I think it was like one of the promotional posters that Lindsay Lohan did when when she was probably filming like Freaky Friday or something. Yeah, I said back when Chad was still relevant. I don't even know what he's doing now. Yeah, same. Oh, although I do think Chad Michael Murray was in a movie with Nicolas Cage a few years ago. I think it was that left like I think the remake of Left Behind or something. If you're like into Christian movies, which believe it or not, the original Left Behind was actually one of my mom's favorite movies. But I think they did a remake of Left Behind a few years ago with I think it was Nicolas Cage and Chad Michael Murray, which was also another interesting fact. Is Nicolas Cage another one of my mom's favorite actors. Yeah, I said back then was a time where there was actually real movies and not all this superhero crap. Yeah, I agree. Like, not saying that like the Marvel movies and the DC universe like isn't bad or anything. It's just there was a time I do remember the time when there wasn't like all these superhero movies coming out every year or every few months. Well, I know 2004 they still did like the Spider-Man movies, but this was back when Tobey Maguire was still Spider-Man, which also brings me to the fact of another movie I just remembered from 2004, because in 2002, I think the very first live action Scooby Doo movie came out, but the sequel, I think it was Scooby Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed, was released in 2004, which is another one of my favorite movies. I mean, where pretty much both Scooby Doo movies were like the original, I guess, live action Scooby Doo movie. I feel it's very nostalgic for, even though some people today don't even think don't even think it was really that good of a movie. I guess it's more of a guilty pleasure movie, but I thought that movie was pretty funny and pretty good. I still have nostalgic feelings for it. Yeah, I was really. I never even seen the first Left Behind. Oh wow. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My mom watched Left Behind anytime it aired on TV or something. I'm so sick of superhero movies. I can throw up. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I'm kind of with you. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen really any of the new superhero movies. The super, like, I don't know. I don't want to say that I don't like superhero movies because I do like some of them, and even believe it or not, I even watched some superhero movies back when I was in school because that's what my teacher had us had us watch like on special days back in class. Because I remember watching like the Hulk movies in school, or even like the first Spider Man or Spider Man 2. but yeah, I actually agree with you also about Lindsay. Lindsay looks really bad right now. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say that's what drugs did to her. Because Finn said, I see Left Behind 1 and 2, a remake and the remake of Left Behind. I said, there's too many of them. They're shoving it down our throats. Yeah, actually, I kind of agree. I feel like superhero movies are coming out way more often now than they used to. Because back in 2004, 2003, the years I keep really going back to, like even 2002 was when the when the Spider-Man 1 came out, which was the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. And but even then, you would hear about superhero movies coming out maybe once every 2 years. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. But yeah. Even back then, I was just saying that back then it was like superhero movies came out once every 2 or 3 years. It just seems, or maybe there was a superhero movie that came out every year, but at least it wasn't every few months like it is now. Hmm. Hmm. I hear honking. Oh, yeah, I lost connection for a sec. What were you saying? Oh, okay. I thought it was just me because this may sound crazy. I actually just lost connection for a minute, so that's why I was like having to refresh uh, my page. So I didn't know if I left or anything, but yeah, it was exactly too many too often. But yeah, that's basically what I was saying. Was back then, 2002 to 2003, 2004, you would hear about a new superhero movie, whether it was Hulk, like a Hulk movie, or a Spider Man, or a Superman, or a Batman movie coming out like once every 2 or 3 years. But now it's like a new superhero movie comes out every few months. Like this, like it really is that crazy because just earlier this year there was like Avengers Endgame, and then just like a month or two ago, Spider-Man: Far From Home just came out, and I felt like that. I don't know. It just seemed really soon, like close together. Because yeah, I said, oh, I thought it was on my side. Okay. Oh yeah. So maybe it was my side. Maybe it was my internet. I don't know. I don't know if it does this just like regularly when I'm just like on my computer, or if it happens when I'm live streaming for so long or something. But yeah, I hope like my quality gets better soon. I mean, I would hate to like my internet just crap out while I'm in the middle of a live stream. But yeah, I was just I don't know, but yeah, I'm actually like loving this. Like, also in 2004, my grandma, my grandma actually did get her car working again in 2000, like 2004. So her green Oldsmobile, and she would be taking me to school every morning again. And this was back when I was, I guess, towards the end of middle school, but when I was starting high school, when I was starting high school, uh, in 2004, like was sixth grade, which I guess most people would consider like freshman year. Um, I would be watching I don't know, like the junior channels, like Disney, like Disney Junior or Nick Junior, watching like little kiddie shows. I mean, before getting ready for school, like because I think I mentioned before that sometimes I would be watching like like one of those cartoons, like one of those Mickey Mouse or Winnie the Pooh shows, or like Roly Poly Oly, like, or eating a donut getting ready for school, because behind, right in front of my grandma's apartment, or right behind it, was literally a donut shop. I think it was called Winchell's Donut House at the time. It eventually did change its name to, I think, Willie's Donut House, which I think is really a funny name, Willie's Donut House. But my grandma would take me there like almost every morning before getting ready for school. I could get a donut, and I would eat a donut before school, and then but sometimes I would also watch Cartoon Network before getting ready for school. And back then, Cartoon Network, like around like 7 or 8 in the morning, Cartoon Network would be playing like Baby Looney Tunes, or one of those like, I think there was a show called Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. Like, which kind of brings us to the point that we were just talking about Sylvester and Tweety like yesterday, or last night in Trisha's stream, or the night before. It was one of the previous streams, but yeah. So like that shows you just how much I was really into the Looney Tunes. Which brings it to a point, like, I mean, because I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was a time back in Cartoon Network that every June Cartoon Network would have like would play a whole weekend of like Bugs Bunny cartoons, and it would be called June Bugs. And I believe not, I would always get like VHS tapes, like blank VHS tapes, so I could record like every Bugs Bunny cartoon that played, because I wanted to have like every Bugs Bunny cartoon known to man. Because because sometimes Cartoon Network would play like the June Bugs Bunny cartoon marathons, either in order of the actual cartoons being like they were originally released, from like the 1940s to now, or to then, because this was like 2002 or 2001 or so. Or they would actually play the Bugs Bunny cartoons in alphabetical order, which I thought was really fascinating. Like that's what makes me miss the old Cartoon Network, because even like, speaking of 2004, some people think that the original Cartoon Network kind of died in 2004, because it was 2004 when Cartoon Network stopped playing a lot of its, I guess, nostalgic, like, or some of its best like time blocks, because it was like 2004, 2005 when Cartoon Network started coming up with like these new shows, and they would just play more of their new shows more than their older shows. But at least there was this. At least they had their sister network, Boomerang. But yeah, yeah. Once again, yeah, I was a, they're making them so often, but they don't spend much time on good one. I mean, making a good one. Yeah, that's true. I was, I thought I put it down. I thought I put it down. I put it down. I love that. I love that. I love that, Elsa. I thought I put it down. But yeah, I love Sylvester and Tweety. Well, believe it or not, one of my favorite Looney Tune duos I mean, even though Tweety and Sylvester is up there on one of my favorite Looney Tune duos, um, my favorite would have to be Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. I loved the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons. Like that was another thing. If Cartoon Network was to do like a whole marathon of like playing like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons, I would be getting like VHS tapes, recording those cartoons as well. Like recording that shit. I love it. Like I love the whole like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons. Like I was like obsessed. Like I'll be honest with you, there was probably a time I probably thought Wile E. Coyote was my hero. Not to mention, I also had a Roadrunner video game on Super Nintendo back then as well, like the early 2000s. I think it was called Roadrunner Death Valley Alley or something like that. But it was a really, I don't know, it was a really fun game. I don't know. So see, I told you I was like getting really nostalgic, and that was, and video games is very relevant to my conversation tonight because I was talking mostly about like when my grandmother lived at Potomac House Apartments for the 9 years she did from 1997 to 2006, and I would always like be playing like I have a lot of memories of playing like my Super Nintendo games with my friends, or like my Nintendo 64 game system with my friends. Yeah, I said beep beep. Oh yeah. Oh, welcome back, country fan. Or at least I assume that's what you meant. I didn't know that you left. Yeah, everyone else was like beep beep. Yeah, I love that. Well, I think growing up, I think my favorite Looney Tune duos pretty much was Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, Sylvester and Tweety, and of course Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Because I love that whole rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, Elmore season. And then Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck look at Elmer Fudd, and I think they get the guns and start going after Elmer Fudd, and they're like, "Shh, be very, very quiet. We're haunting Elmer's." Yeah, that was good. I love that. Yeah, I also said, damn, this cat on the roof is loud. Sounds like a burglar on the roof. Oh my God, Elsa. I guess you were right about like you wish that cat like would be an indoor cat. Yeah, Ice Pits or Trish said, shoot it with a BB gun, Elsa. Elsa said, exactly right, Chris. But yeah, even growing up, like living at my grandma's apartment, because I consider her like a second home. Not to mention, I literally would kind of run a ride to my grandma's house or my grandma's apartment just to get away from my dad. Sometimes, because my dad was always trying to ground me or trying to boss everyone around, or he would just fight with everybody and argue and have to get the last word and or it was really hectic at home. So that's one reason why I was thankful that I had some other place to go and spend the night when I was a kid, which was my grandmother's apartment. And but even living there, I spent a lot of time, believe it or not, even though I loved going outside and playing with my friends and going swimming and going to the ice skating rink, like things like that, and even though that was before like social media existed and the whole internet kaboom or whatever you like to call it, I was still in front of the TV an awful lot. So I watched a lot of Cartoon Network, a lot of Disney Channel, a lot of Nickelodeon, a lot of Animal Planet. That's one reason why I can literally watch some shows now and get this whole nostalgic feeling. Like that's why I can mention about all those Looney Tunes that I used to watch, and even Animal Planet had a show that I like. The very first top 10 list countdown I ever really got into. I think what really got me into like top 10 lists in general was a show on Animal Planet called The Most Extreme, which they would count down like the most extreme animals of a certain genre or a certain thing, like because it'd be like counting down like the top 10 killer cats, like top 10 cats to I guess hunt, and which I guess spoiler alert, the number one killer cat on that countdown was literally the house cat, because house cats hunt. I think they said house cats hunt over like 1,000 different species of animals, but they don't hunt to kill. They hunt for pretty much sport. They hunt for like the pleasure of it. So sometimes they will literally catch something and not even eat it. Like some cats would, like tigers and like lions and tigers. But yeah. Finn said, "Worst remake movie I seen was Nightmare on Elm Street." Oh yeah, that one was pretty terrible. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that came out in like 2010, Elsa. But I know my mom was kind of upset because I don't think Robert England returned to be Freddy Krueger, which my mom was kind of upset about, or unless he did. I'm not really sure. It's been years. I just know the year it came out. See, I'm good with dates, so I can literally tell you. I think it was 2010, but it could have been a year before or a year after. But yeah, I also said, but it's dark now, and I don't want to go outside right now in the cold. Plus, I would not want to climb on the roof. I might just break a leg or injure my foot. Oh, April 39. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, April 30th, 20. I was wondering. I was like, I don't know. Was you trying to say 1939? I was like, I didn't know there was a Nightmare on Elm Street back then. Okay. Yeah, I said, when did that come out at Chris? And I was like, did you know a cat's bite is worse than a dog's? Oh yeah, which is crazy because they say that dogs have like one of the, I guess, dirtiest mouths. I mean, I think they said, well, actually, I think they said dogs have a. I don't know. There was a saying either dogs or cats have like cleaner mouths than humans or something. Oh yeah, I think it was dogs because that fact really blew my mind. Because I was like, how's a dog's mouth cleaner than a human's when they literally like? Well, I know cats lick themselves, but sometimes dogs do too, and dogs even lick like their private areas and things like that, and licking their balls. I was like, how's a dog's mouth cleaner than a human's? I always thought that was like one of the weirdest facts. I also said, "Oh, I have never seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I know, shocker." Oh wow, Elsa. Well, I mean, I know you don't really like horror movies in general, but I'm surprised your mom didn't even make you watch any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because my mom actually I think my mom loved Nightmare on Elm Street, but she also loved the Friday the 13th movies and the Halloween franchise, just like Trish. Like my mom was also a big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, as as cat has more germs in their mouth than or as oh okay yeah yes you missed like pronounce that or oh no you retracted your message outside. I didn't even get a chance to really read the whole thing. But yeah, so if you're wondering why I know so much about like animals or in general, it's because I watch a lot of Animal Planet, which actually brings me to the point that I think, which brings me to the point where I was talking about like 2006 is the fact that tomorrow, September 4th, is also going to be the 13-year anniversary since the world lost the living legend Steve Irwin, who was also known as the Crocodile Hunter. because I still remember that. That literally happened 2 days after my grandmother moved out of her apartment complex in 2006. And so, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that on the news. I literally came across an article on the internet. Believe it or not, I think because I was always on Yahoo. See, that's what I'll be honest with you. I didn't really watch the news growing up, except for well, especially after we got our first computer. But I mean, I did watch the news with my grandma and things like that. But but back in 2006, I got a lot of my news stories from like Yahoo.com because Yahoo usually have stories. And I remember when I saw that when I went to Yahoo's, because that was also my email address. I also had an email address with Yahoo.com at the time. My very first Yahoo uh, email address, and I remember seeing the story about Steve Irwin uh, dying from like a stingray attack, and he was literally filming like a show for I think for Animal Planet or Discovery Channel at the time, and so I mean at least he died doing what he loved, which I don't know, it's still kind of crazy like how that happened. I mean, because a lot of people thought that Steve Irwin was so um like I guess he didn't really like he didn't really do things without thinking, or he was always I guess kind of like a daredevil. He was always looking at like animals, and he'd be like, "You better look, it's a tiger. It's one of the most dangerous creatures on the planet. One bite and my bones will be crushed. I'm gonna poke it with a stick." I mean, I'm not. That's actually a joke that Gabriel Iglesias Fluffy did one time. I love Gabriel Iglesias' impression of the crocodile hunter. But yeah, but a lot of people thought that the crocodile hunter was gonna die at the like the jaws of a crocodile or something, because that's where he got the name crocodile hunter. Like, but I don't know. It turned out to be like a stingray that got him. But yeah, it's just I love to do. I try to do that impression. I even did that in front of my mom before, trying to imitate Fluffy's impression or impersonation of the crocodile hunter. And I made my mom laugh so hard one time. And we were actually out and about at the time, but she was like, "When we get home, we need to watch Fluffy." Because I don't know, I got it's like need to watch Fluffy because that was funny. Like I made my mom laugh, but yeah. Okay, trying to read some of these comments. Okay, I said, "Damn autocorrect." Or okay, a cat has more germs in their mouth than a dog. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I do. They also say that they also say that humans have more germs in their mouth than a dog, which I don't know. I feel like that's a very shocking fact. Listen, damn autocorrect made me having to delete my previous message. Okay, Fizz, do you have a fave Jamie Lee Curtis movie, Alvin? Um, Believe it or not, my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis movie is probably Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan, or the movie Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen. Like that movie was funny. Yeah, yeah, good fans. I heard about Steve on a radio station. Oh yeah. I remember they were talking about it on the radio station. I know it was all over the news. It was like one of the most biggest, like, I guess, celebrity losses. Because I mean, at the time, 2006, because I mean that really did take people for a loop because people were, like, very shocked. Yeah. Also, oh yeah. Also, I love Jamie and Freaky Friday and True Lies. Those are the movies that come to mind. Oh yeah. True Lies as well. But yeah, Freaky Friday. But yeah, you had the same thought as me. Also, I said, me too, Chris. I always thought a crocodile or snake would get him, but no, it was a stingray. Yeah, that's true. And Chris, I like movie Virus. That was awesome. But yeah, so I basically just wanted to mention that about the crocodile hunter because I want to, like, I mean, kind of like, I guess, paying respects and just say that I don't know, just 13 years ago tomorrow we would have lost a legend, the crocodile hunter, and long live Steve Irwin. Like, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've always been a fan of Steve Irwin, but I've been like a bigger fan of David Attenborough. But even Steve Irwin was influenced by David Attenborough as well. But Steve Irwin did his things his own way because David Attenborough sometimes he would try to get kind of a like an intimate connection with like an animal that he's like watching or observing, and sometimes he would try to get close to it to pet it or something, and sometimes he would even pick up a snake or something. But Steve Irwin is on a whole other level. Steve Irwin will literally mess with some of the dangerous creatures, some of the dangerous animals on the planet, and basically risk being bit or being killed by something. But David Attenborough was more like if David Attenborough, if he was like trying to show on screen or trying to film a very dangerous animal, he would be kind of like watching from afar or something, just with like very high technology like cameras, so they could like zoom in or something. But he wouldn't like be going like getting right in like face to face with like a lion or something. I mean, where he did kind of get face to face with a I think a king cobra at one time, or some cobra, but he had like some protective gear, so it couldn't like spray him with like venom in his eyes or something. He gets something to. He always had some kind of protection, but Steve Irwin, on the other hand, he didn't have much protection. He would literally go like his bare hands. I mean, I saw him mess. I saw one of the episodes of Crocodile Hunter one time, and he was like messing with like a scorpion or something, and he was like, well, "Look at the scorpion. It's got a stinger. It's poisonous." And his finger would be right above it. Like that scorpion could have literally just poked his finger. Like, what the hell? Like Steve Irwin, like he was like the ultimate daredevil. Okay, there was a South African YouTuber. His name was Dingo Dinkelman, and he sounds like Steve Irwin on his videos when he catches the snake and stuff. Have you seen the movie Virus? I'm not sure. I mean, it sounds familiar because I mean, it depends on what it's about. Is it really about a virus, or because I do remember watching movies that kind of maybe had virus in the title, or that was about a computer virus, or it was about some kind of like actual disease that spread around. I mean, I watched a lot of movies. It's probably just been years since I've seen it. I also, I have it, Chris, and I also hi, Jerry. Jerry, hey, Jerry. Good friends, Trish, are you still here? And then I said, Trish, where are you? Oh no, when you said that, it just reminded me of the Scooby Doo theme song. Like, Scooby Doo, where are you? Which reminds me, speaking of the Scooby Doo movies, I mean, like the live action Scooby Doo movies. Speaking of those, Matthew Lillard was really excellent as Shaggy. Like, he was so believable as Shaggy that I can understand why he even got a voice role as like one of the like Shaggy cartoon characters, like in some of the newer cartoons that have came out since then. But yeah, like Matthew Lillard was very believable as Shaggy. So I was like, oh no, it's just he even had the voice and everything. Like Jerry said, Elsa, frozen. Jerry said, damn, Elsa beat me to it. I was gonna say Jerry. Elsa, hello, Jerry, like the snow. Jerry said, sorry, had to step out for a sec. Had to wash my hands. And Country Fan said, I sent you a trailer on Messenger, Alvin. Oh yeah, thank you, Country Fan. Yeah, I just got it. But yeah. Like, now you can understand why I love Rabbit's impression of Shaggy so much. I don't know. I just love that old voice. And like, so oh no, it's just Matthew Lillard was actually another one of my favorite actors from back in the early 2000s because he was also in another movie I loved called Without a Paddle. Like that movie was so funny. It also had Seth Green in it. Like I'm trying to remember the other actors that were in the movie, but yeah, Without a Paddle was also that movie actually also came out in 2004. Another 2004 big hit. See, I told you 2004 was filled with movies. Oh, and we can't forget Lion King 1.5, which was Timon and Pumbaa's story from the original Lion King. Because the original Lion King came out in 1994, but and then they had the sequel, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, in like 1998. But in 2004, they released a movie called Lion King 1.5, or it may have been released with the name Lion King 3 in other parts of the world, like maybe where you live, Elsa. But it was Timon and Pumbaa's pretty much story, like their perspective of like their life and how they met Simba and things like that. So. And where pretty much it pretty much answered the question of where Timon and Pumbaa was during a lot of the events of the Lion King before they even met Simba. Like what was Timon and Pumbaa doing during the whole circle of life bit, or like I mean I know you probably haven't seen original Lion King yet, Elsa, but you should really give it a watch, and then you should also watch Lion King 1.5 because Timon and Pumbaa. Like they're kind of like characters that always steal the show. Like in pretty much every Lion King movie, even in the new live action Lion King movie, Timon and Pumbaa pretty much stole the show. That was played by Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen. Even though Nathan Lane will always be the best, like Timon, but yeah. So but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. That movie came out in 2004, and I remember my mom and me driving from Walmart to Walmart trying to buy. We wanted to buy the like Lion King 1.5 on DVD back when it was released in 2004, and almost every place was sold out of it, or they didn't get it in yet, like on the release date. And so I think we ended up having to rent it from like a video store because I think we finally found it at like Blockbuster or something, which sounds kind of interesting now. I mean, I have the movie now, but I mean Lion King 1.5. But I mean I actually have it like on my DVD collection because I have pretty much the first like pretty much all the animated Lion King movies. But when the live action one comes out, I'll probably be buying that as well. But yeah. Okay. I'm trying to read back. Okay. I said, how was the chili? How much did you sweat? Also, he was also in the first Scream movie, and that movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook. Oh yeah, he was. I remember that. He was in Scream. Oh yeah, Matthew Lillard was also in another horror movie called 13 Ghosts. Oh my god, I love that movie. Okay, that movie came out like 2001, 2002. But it was awesome. Like that movie actually came out around the same time that Matthew Lillard was in the first like live action Scooby-Doo movie. But yeah, 13 Ghosts. That movie was really freaky, but it was incredible, especially if you watch that on like a big screen. Because my neighbors at the time, which their names were like they were like a couple, and they had a kid together, and their names were David and Christy. And David was actually the one I think the friend I told you about before that got arrested or was in jail for the last like 3 years, but he finally got out. He basically got committed for I mean where he got arrested for a crime he didn't even commit. Like he was innocent, and he still had to spend some time in jail. So. But yeah, he had like a big like plasma screen TV in his house, and sometimes we walk in his house, and one time he actually had the movie 13 Ghosts playing on it, and that movie looked incredible on that big screen. Also, the movie Pokemon the Pokemon the third movie also came out around then, and we got to see that on like his big plasma screen TVs, and we thought that movie was so cool. Which I think maybe is the reason why Pokemon the third movie is one of my favorite Pokemon movies of all time. Of all time, I'm just saying. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. Trish said, chili was perfect. Was wiping sweat for 10 or 15 minutes after I finished eating it. I said, yeah, we have it on VHS and I still haven't seen it yet. Oh, wow. I was like, that's crazy. I assume you're talking about the original Lion King. I was like, or are you talking about another movie? Because that movie virus does have Jamie Lee Curtis in it. Oh, that's awesome. I said, sounds like chili should be eaten in the winter, not summer. Maybe that's a true story, Elsa. I said, oh yeah, 13 Ghosts. I saw that. Oh, you did? Oh, yes. I don't know why, because I know you don't really like horror movies, Elsa, but that movie is also another horror movie that kind of I holds a special place in my heart. Like when people ask me what my favorite horror movies are, I usually say, well, I guess in a way, Disturbia is count as kind of a horror movie, but it's more of a thriller. But I still consider that one of my favorite horror movies, Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. But besides that, my other horror movies I always say that my favorite horror movies is the Final Destination franchise, Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. Because I actually saw the third one, which came out a couple years ago. I was waiting for that forever, but I mean, the third one was really wasn't that great compared to the first two. And other horror movies I like is 13 Ghosts. Um, there was another horror movie I guess it was kind of a horror movie. I think it was called Bad Reputation, but it was kind of a like a B movie or something. One of those straight to DVD releases, I think. I also love this movie called Valentine or something. That was a horror movie about this kid or about this guy that was pretty much picked on and teased and made fun of. And when he was a kid, he had crushes on a few girls in his class or in school, and they all made fun of him and teased him. So later on in life, he started like I don't know, started killing like some of these girls who turned him down. Like he tracked them down, and it was a really crazy like horror movie. But I remember that movie used to come on like almost every Valentine's Day or around the time, even around Halloween. But yeah, okay, yeah. I said, Rima said, enjoy your gas, Trish. LOL. I said, yeah. Do you have a gas mastress? Trish said, well, it probably should be eaten in winter, but Rabbit and I love it so much we eat it all year long. True story. Rima said, rip. Trish said, LOL had a gas mask, but the gas from the chili was so powerful it melted the mask. LOL. I said, that's how I feel about ice cream. I can eat it any time of the year, even winter. I said, well, I saw it because my mother saw it. I said, Disturbia isn't really a horror movie. Yeah, I guess it's more of a thriller or more of a drama, but I mean, I think the reason why I can kind of consider a horror movie is just because it really is creepy. That guy really is creepy, and he really did kill some women. But I mean, kind of spoiler alert, but you don't even find out he killed anybody until like the very end of the movie. It was kind of like a whole reveal type thing. But throughout most of the movie, it's basically just he's basically just a suspect. Basically, Shia LaBeouf's character and his love interest and his best friend basically conspire this, or pretty much come up with this whole conspiracy theory that that his next door neighbor is a killer and kidnapped and like I guess kidnapped and killed these girls from like Austin, Texas, or something. I mean, which kind of reminds me because I actually love the whole fact that Shia LaBeouf's character in the movie, like his best friend, is literally this like Asian guy, which I thought was kind of interesting because one of my best friends when I was a kid was actually I want to say he was like Asian, but I think he was more like Latino or Hispanic. But I don't know. I do kind of get that because I actually had a friend, like a best friend, that was kind of like Shia LaBeouf's best friend in the movie. So that was another relatable scenario. So maybe that's why I love that movie so much. Is because I've actually been in very similar scenarios as I mean to Shia LaBeouf's character in that movie. Okay, yeah. Like maybe that's why I always thought if I always thought Shia LaBeouf and I could actually be friends or something. I don't know, just the way he portrays like characters in movies, and he was like a method actor and everything. And I don't know, there was just something about him. That's why I love the movie Hose so much. Pretty much anything Shia LaBeouf was in back in the early to mid to late 2000s, from like 2000 from 2000 to 2009. Uh, he was like one of my favorite actors, and I just felt like I could really relate to his characters and maybe even him personally. But I thought it was crazy when Shia LaBeouf started having his little, I guess, kind of meltdown back in like 2013, 2014. So I mean, because he was another one of those child actors who kind of went off the rails for a bit, but hopefully he's got his shit together now. But yeah, yeah. Here, Raymond said, Trish, you better hope it's just gas. Lemon, I mean, laugh my ass off. Elsa, did you see the movie The Haunting in Connecticut? Oh, yeah, I think I saw that too, Elsa. Raymond said, Trish, at our age, LOL, can't trust a fart. Elsa said, LOL, Trish, you need to replace it then. Trish said, LOL. Elsa said, why, Raymond, does it sometimes leave skid marks? Raymond said, more than just that. Elsa said, oh, does it leave a small dog behind? And Raymond said, that's a messy dog. That's funny. Oh, Shiloh the Milo, the giggity goo. But yeah, this has been fun. Like I don't know how much longer you guys want to stay. I mean, I'll probably live for at least another like 28, 30 minutes or so. Because I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't really mind live streaming for like 3 hours. Like given that Trish does her live streams like an hour and a half or an hour. Most times it's just since I only live stream, I guess, by myself like once a week anyway. I just thought I would do like 3 hour streams for my regular night. So I hope that so I hope I'm not like keeping you guys from anything, and like I know I'm probably keeping Elsa from getting like more sleep, but yeah, Raymond says all night, Alvin. Jason, did you see all the Lover tracks debuted in the top 100 or Billboard? Oh yeah, I did see that, Jerry. That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, people have been tweeting about that like all night, or I mean, all day on Twitter. Yeah, Rams said Trish likes it all night long. Yes, she does. Kick it go. Yeah, this stream has been really great so far. Like, I'm glad you guys could make it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure how many people were gonna show up or who was gonna show up because I don't really stream that often. So sometimes I do kind of worry that not many people are gonna show up when I start live streaming. So I basically only live streaming on Tuesdays as long as I guess people show up and like to hear my opinions or hear me talk like you guys like to hear Trish talk and rant. I mean, even I can rant about some things too every once in a while. Like, I mean, we just have to talk about something that I really feel passionate about. That I will like go on a very full long rant Yeah, Elsa, Rue really likes the headrest of the couch. Oh yeah, yeah, he really does. Elsa, that's where Rue sleeps. Like almost, he's like really passed out. Like if you could see, yeah, he has like his paw hanging down, like hanging down off the couch. Raymond said, "Rant away, Alvin." But I don't know what to really rant about. I mean, I feel like Trish has ranted about a lot of things the past couple of days. Yeah, I was it. Why did they all debut on there? It's only Taylor. What's so special about her? Come on, Elsa. Taylor's new album is really that good though. Like her song works. I mean, they're really amazing. Like I can like it doesn't matter if you're a fan of Taylor or not, Elsa. I mean, her songs really do mean a lot to a lot of people. And so, like, I'm not really surprised. Not to mention, she is one of the big stars out, like big pop stars out there right now. Like, not to mention, she's still under 35 because I heard before that radio seems to, or even streaming service, I mean, seems to not really care about artists after they reach like 35 years old because they like to play like artists that are younger, like for the more younger audiences, like for teenagers or young adults. Um, like even Pink and Sarah Evans, like artists like that, say that radio doesn't really care about anyone under 35 unless you're like Beyonce, because Beyonce still gets a lot of radio airplay. Like anything she releases turns gold, like pretty much becomes a hit. I was like showing up Pukey again, like Taylor this, Taylor that. But yeah, like I mean, Taylor's still 29 years old. Don't you? Like she's getting ready to turn 30 later this year, but technically she's still in her 20s, so she's still kind of like killing it in the music business, and she's so smart when it comes to like her songwriting and the songs she puts on her albums and her album releases and her marketing and her promoting. Like she's really smart in that field and inventorying that I honestly could see Taylor still killing it in the music industry even 10 years from now, even when she is like close to 40, which is kind of a scary thought considering that most of like a lot of Taylor's music I really consider like something that speaks more to like the teenage demographic or the young adults, but even I still kind of relate because even though I'm already 30, I still feel like I still feel like I should have turned just 20 this year. I don't even feel like I've been in my 20s the last 10 years. I feel like I just got out of my teens finally for the first time in forever. Like Elsa, that's why I'm different. I don't listen to anyone younger than me. Oh, really, Elsa? Everyone said I sing pretty good in the shower. Jerry said Taylor's music is very universal, which is why you see many older and younger people liking Taylor. Yeah, yeah, I actually agree. I noticed that a lot of like, believe it or not, there was actually some elderly people from like in those 60s or 70s that like Taylor. Um, and I mean, and then those people like Trish, like her age, that love Taylor, and then even me. I mean, I'm like the same age as Taylor, and I'm not. I feel like I've grown up with Taylor, so I feel like I've always been a fan of Taylor since she came out, or pretty much came out in the music business. Back in 2006 when she released her very first album. I tend to listen to artists and bands I heard on the radio when I was still in school. I'll be honest with you, I'm the same way, Elsa, but I'm still open minded musically to some of the newer music. But I'll be honest with you, I've actually been listening to some, getting ready for the stream tonight. I was actually listening to artists and bands I listened to back when I was in middle school and high school, like like Avril Lavigne, Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, Ashley Simpson, believe it or not, Lindsay Lohan, um, Sarah Evans, Shania Twain, Brad Paisley. Like, I don't know, pretty much artists like that. Like, I don't know, I'm just very nostalgic for like the early to mid 2000s. I feel like music was so better back then, even compared to now. Like, even though there is some artists that I still love to listen to now, like Taylor Swift, for example, and Katy Perry, and whenever Shania releases new music, I mean, I still love like her new stuff, but I don't know. It's just I guess you could say I'm a very nostalgic person. I love nostalgia. I love listening to artists that I listen to or the same music that I listened to back when I was in middle school and high school or even elementary school for that matter. Like that I still really get into that. I still really am big into that. Or I even said like the Bee Gees. Oh yeah, I love the Bee Gees. Which reminds me, which don't get me wrong, even though I'm talking about a lot of artist music from like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, even in those years, even in middle school and high school, I still listen to music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, mostly because of my mom's influence. Because my mom loved artists like the Bee Gees. Um, she loved Journey, Queen. Um, like even one of her favorite bands was actually Kiss, which I don't know. I feel like that's one of the artists that you would be surprised that I listen to sometimes, or even like I don't know. Even I like if even I consider myself a fan of Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash. Even even though they died years ago. Uh, but yeah, like so it's like don't get me wrong. Just because I'm talking nostalgia, like from like early to mid 2000s, like from 2000 to 2005, 2006. Even back then, I still like even though I was listening to a lot of the newer stuff that came out around that time. I grew up listening to a lot of music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I mean, I could listen to an old Madonna song and still jam to it like it just came out, like a prayer, for example. Like I've been caught jamming to that song. Like you don't want to see. Like I dance to that song whenever it comes on. Like oh no, it's just or even Papa Don't Preach or Like a Virgin. Um, and I even like some like old like Michael Jackson songs, like "Beat It" and like "Billie Jean" and Black and White, or even "Man in the Mirror." Like so, I can name a lot of like songs, and even Johnny Cash, like "A Boy Named Sue," "Walk the Line," like Folsom Prison Blues, like or then there's Elvis Presley, which I actually like the song "I Can't Help Falling in Love with You," which actually reminds me. Um, I actually one of my favorite covers of the song was actually by this band called A-Teens who do a lot of covers of like songs from ABBA, the band ABBA, um, and I love the music as well, especially when they did it, they also did a cover of the song "Can't Help Falling in Love with You" by Elvis Presley, especially because they did that song especially for the movie Lilo and Stitch in 2002. But I'm very nostalgic for like a lot of those old Disney movies or classic Disney movies, and I do consider Lilo and Stitch a very classic Disney movie, even though it came out uh, back in 2002. But I feel like that movie's always going to be a classic. Yeah, I said, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to read back. I said, no, my mind is closed to any of today's modern music. Damn you! Oh. Jerry said the newest artist I love is Lizzo. Oh yeah, Lizzo's pretty good too. Like if I'm trying to think of the most modern artist that I love or that I am really into, I'm trying to think because the thing, even though I love a lot of modern music, it's usually by artists or bands who've actually still been around a while, like at least for the last 10 years or more. So I'm trying to think of a very new artist who hasn't been in the industry very long. But the only one that really comes to mind is Sabrina Carpenter. I love her music. Sabrina Carpenter. I think she's from Disney, so she's like another one of those like Disney stars who got into music. But I really love her music, especially the song she has called "Thumbs" from a couple years ago in 2017. Um, Trying to think of who else, because I mean I listen to a lot of music, so it's a lot of random. Even Jerry says I love Sabrina Carpenter. Oh yes, yeah, I love her. I love her music. Like her music's so fun to like jam to. Um, but believe it or not, there's actually some artists who don't even that I feel aren't even really popular. May not even really been popular. Like they're kind of like underrated. Um, like I mean, and there's some artists who I thought had potential of actually getting a, like actually being big music stars, but then their music career kind of fell flat, or they didn't sell as well, and they just gave up. And one of these artists I'm talking about is actually Victoria Justice from Nickelodeon because she was on Zoe 101 and with Jamie Lynn Spears, who was also the younger sister of Britney Spears, and she was also on the show Victorious. And and the big star out of like the breakout star from Victorious was actually Ariana Grande, who everybody in the world knows who Ariana Grande is now. But I thought there was I used to think there was a time when I thought Victoria Justice was going to make it big in music. Like I literally thought she could be pretty big because I loved her voice, especially when she sang. So I consider her one of the most underrated artists. Also, another underrated artist I would consider is Bridget Mendler, who is from the Disney show Good Luck Charlie. Yeah, I'm trying to read back in comments here. Okay. Also, I'm nostalgic too. That's why my taste is more than from the 70s and 90s and some of the 2000s. Oh yeah, yeah, I agree. Also, like I'll be honest with you. I mean, we even love some of the same bands. I mean, because I know that you love Heart, and I also love Heart, like the band Heart. And I also saw your post from the other day about Gloria Estefan's birthday, which I kind of grew up listening to Gloria Estefan as well, especially because of my mom. My mom loved her music, and so so yeah. So I mean, my music interest is very wide and like in range. So Trish says, "Sorry guys, turn into Grand Central Station here for a moment." Jerry said, "I would say my favorite era of music is 2008, 2010, or 2012, 2013." That's actually I mean, I actually agree with you, Jerry. That's actually how I feel as well. Like, I'll be honest with you. Believe it or not, I've actually caught myself saying this quite a few times. I feel like good music died in like 2012 or 2013. I mean, well, because there were some good songs that came out in 2013 that I love, but 2012 has like I'm very nostalgic for 2011 and 2012 music that came out then. I know I was already talking about some of the good music that came out in like 2003, 2004, but oh my god, the music that came out between 2008 and 2012 was some of the best music as far as modern music goes. Like pretty much anything released then by by Katy Perry, uh, Jennifer Lopez, or J Lo as some people call her. Uh, trying to think who else. I mean, because there was a lot of popular music. I mean, if we want to talk about country, Eric Church was a really like had some really good music came out back then. Even Lady It's Mellow, and of course Carrie Underwood, and I mean that was also when Shania Twain did her duet with Lionel Richie of Endless Love. But yeah, and then 2011. Oh yeah, not to mention 2011 was also when Britney Spears released one of my favorite albums of hers, which was Femme Fatale. Because in my opinion, Britney Spears, like I think her last good album era, if I was to consider that, would have been in 2011 because she released four singles from that album and released four music videos, and that was the last era that Britney Spears has released four music videos for an album. The two albums she released after that only had two singles and two music videos. So it's almost like I don't know. It's almost like 2011 was kind of like the downfall of Britney Spears' popularity or something. I mean, if that makes sense. So that's one reason why. I mean, so yeah, 2011, 2012 had there was some great music came out around then. I said, of course it did. No surprises. No surprises. Okay, wait, it jumped. Okay, of course it did. No surprises there. And Trish said, LOL. Raymond said, you babysitting again, Trish. I said, if I had to pick music from today or the 50s, for instance, I'd pick the music from the 50s. And then Jerry said, I love Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, me too. I love her. Trish said, Ashley McBride. And then Jerry said, Bridget Miller as well. Raymond said, Phil Collins. I said, why do all Disney stars think they can sing? Oh, come on, Elsa. There's a lot of Disney stars I think can, like, I'll be honest with you. I do feel like Disney does push those stars to get into music as well. But I honestly think they cast some of those stars based off of those singing voices as well. Because I feel like Disney wants those stars to be able to both sing and act. Like if they can only do one or the other, I feel like they don't. Like I don't want to say that they just don't hire them at all or anything, but they may pick them as like a background person, like in shows or movies. But if a star can actually sing and act, then they have a better chance of becoming like the lead role in a movie or show, kind of like Hilary Duff, for example, or or even like Raven, like Raven Simone, or Selena Gomez or Demi Lovato, because they actually, in my opinion, they could sing, and even Miley Cyrus. So, yeah. Um, Jerry said Bridget ended up going to college. She is a great singer and released some great songs. Yeah, she really did, Jerry. Jerry said Ariana Grande is probably the best X act vocalist. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I actually feel that way. See, I do love Ariana Grande. She does have some songs I really do love. I just feel kind of sorry for Victoria Justice. I just feel like Ariana Grande kind of like overshadowed her and everything. And I don't know if Victoria was really trying to push a music career. Well, I think she was at one time, but it's almost like I don't know if she gave up because of Ariana Grande, or I mean, there's been rumors that Victoria and Ariana had been in a feud for like forever. Man, there's so many comments. I'm trying to read them all. But I keep talking. I also said Ariana Grande equals pukey. Jerry said, I don't like Ariana either, but she is a fantastic vocalist. I also said, not to me. There's plenty who are better. Jerry says, Ariana Grande's whistle tones and high notes are pretty top notch. Mariah Carey is comparable. And Coach Friend said, I also said, you shouldn't even compare her to a legend like Mariah Carey. Well, I mean, we'll be honest, it's not just Jerry. There's a lot of people who compare Ariana and Mariah together. I said, and I'm not even a Mariah fan. Jerry said, Mariah Carey is for sure better, but Ariana is very close technique-wise. Still not as good, but the closest anyone has come. Jerry says, Selena can sing, but she is not a good vocalist. Good music, not very great performances. Oh, yeah, I actually agree, Jerry. I mean, well, I love her music. But I mean, I do believe she can actually sing. It's just her voice is more soft. So you probably won't hear Selena try to actually belt out a song. I mean, but I honestly do think that she can sing, and I can't wait till Trish and I start doing Selena Gomez album reviews because I'm curious. I'm curious what Trish thinks about all of her music because I don't know. I've always been a big fan of Selena Gomez, so I know some people. There's been a whole debate. Like a lot of people don't think Selena can sing. Like there's two people in the world. It's like there's the people who think that Selena Gomez can sing, and then there's people who think she can't. And so it depends on what side you're on. But yeah, Raymond said Robin Williams and else said so. Ariana is basically a ripoff. Jay said basically, yeah, that is kind of true. Like even Ariana Grande has been made fun of in that scenario, like with parodies. Which reminds me, I mean, also I haven't seen you. I mean, sent you any more like Taylor Swift parodies lately, but if you really want to see some really funny parodies, like Taylor Swift parodies or just music parodies in general, I would suggest Bart Baker. I love his parodies, and he's always making fun of like artists, but I don't think he's actually been doing parodies to be mean. I think he actually is a fan of the artist he parodies. But yeah, he's parodied Ariana Grande quite a few times as well, and has actually made fun of the fact that Ariana Grande is basically a ripoff of Mariah Carey. Yeah, I also said or an imitator. Jay said, "Yeah, Ariana is basically Mariah Light, not as good, but okay." I said, "LOL, Mariah Light, definitely not Mariah 2.0." That's funny. Jerry said, "I really like Stars Dance and Revival." Jerry Selena can sing, but she is not impressive per se. Jerry said, "Bart Baker hates Taylor with a burning passion." Oh. Well, I mean, well, I guess you could say that, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. I know he's always making fun of Taylor, so maybe I feel like Taylor Swift is his favorite person to make parodies of. So maybe he does hate Taylor, but he's also made fun of a lot of other artists as well. He's made fun of Ariana Grande, One Direction, Miley Cyrus. Like he's pretty much made fun of almost every modern artist. Like I'm trying to think. Like I mean, where he's even made fun of Selena Gomez. Oh, another one of his favorite artists to make fun of or parody is Justin Bieber. But yeah, but yeah, yeah. But yeah, Jerry said he said some stuff behind closed doors. Oh wow. Else said like, oh, wait, are you asking me? Also, like, what parodies does Bart Baker do? Or, I mean, I could send you a few parodies if you want me to, because I don't know exactly like what. I mean, if you've even seen his parodies before, but Bart Baker is one of my favorite parody artists on YouTube. Even though the king of parodies will always be Weird Al Yankovic, which I'm also a huge fan of. It's just Bart Baker. I've basically been a fan of Bart Baker since his YouTube channel began because I remember watching him back in like 2010, 2011 when he was just starting out doing parodies, and he was making fun of Katy Perry back then and J Lo, and there was also another parody channel that I loved called Key of Awesome. Well, which I think they actually stopped. I think they stopped making videos. I feel like Key of Awesome retired or something. Like I've even looked up their YouTube channel and they haven't really uploaded anything in like a year. And, yeah. Or else it sounds like the people make fun of behind closed doors. Okay. Also, no, I'm asking Jerry. What did you say about Kanye? Jerry said Bart Baker defended Kanye in the situation on Twitter back in the day. Oh wow! See, I didn't know that. See, I have followed Bart Baker on Twitter before, but I mostly just know Bart Baker from his YouTube channel, from his YouTube videos. I do remember him doing parodies of Taylor Swift. Like he wanted to, like he did do a video of what he thought it would be like if Taylor Swift was to sit down and react and watch one of his parodies of her music videos. And so he had this, like, I guess Taylor Swift lookalike, if you want to call it that, um, to pretty much pretend to be Taylor watching his parody of "Look What You Made Me Do," and Taylor would be like I mean, his video and his parody, like Taylor would be like, why does he make fun? Like, I do not sound like that. What's he doing now? Oh, he's so stupid. Oh no, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I just thought they were just parodies. I did not know that Bart Baker was actually trying to start a feud with Taylor Swift, if that was what it was. Like, even Bart Baker kind of. I mean, I would say this. I do think he did become full of himself a little bit when Taylor released Blank Space back in 2014, and then made a music video for it. Because in Bart Baker's parody of Blank Space, he basically did poke fun at the fact that he thinks that Taylor decided to write Blank Space because of him, because of his parodies, because that Taylor wanted to basically act out and be crazy in a music video, because Bart Baker was always portraying Taylor Swift as like Satan or this crazy serial dater or something, and so and he even said in his parody that Taylor wrote Blank Space because of Bart Baker, because Bart Baker's always parodying Taylor as being like crazy and insane. So she went crazy and insane in a song, like in her actual song and music video for Blank Space. So yeah. Yeah, Jerry said, I think some of his parodies are good, but the stuff he said about Taylor outside of the parodies puts a bad taste in my stomach. Oh yeah, Jerry said, pretty sure he just tweets about the whole phone call situation. He lives in China now and is insanely popular there. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I said, two of my brothers live in China, or tell them to find him and take him out for you. Oh my God, Elsa has connections on the inside. I can't believe I lasted this long. We've been talking like. Oh no, this is actually pretty fun. I mean, I knew you were waiting for us to talk about Taylor, Elsa. Like, I mean, I just had a feeling you were waiting. I mean, for us to talk about Taylor, so you could have your little fun as well. Jerry said Taylor is the most popular Western artist of all time there as well. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, Taylor's like popular pretty much internationally, like all over the world, at least how I picture it. I mean, I haven't been to like other countries, so I don't know how popular she actually is in other countries. But I know here in America, she's like a big deal here. So, I mean, not to mention she is an American as it is, so it's not surprising. But I mean, I know she's also popular in the Philippines. I know that because I actually follow quite a few Filipino Swifties on Twitter, and they're always talking about like, Taylor, come to Manila, come to the Philippines. Like, I mean, like hoping that she comes to the Philippines on her tour, on her Lava tour, that when she goes on tour again. Yeah. Also, well, Taylor equals lots of laughs. Trish said, "Did you check your mail today, Alvin?" Oh yeah, yes I did, Trish. I was going to tell you, I got the modem that you sent me. So yeah, I guess. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of worried. I didn't know if you had actually like misspelled or anything, like when telling like the address or anything, because I know that I haven't. Because I feel like it was the first time I finally told you my address, so I wasn't sure, but yeah, I mean, but luckily I have been checking the tracking, and but yeah, it actually came around like 5-ish, or like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock today. So yeah, I'm glad. So I may ask my sister about it when she comes down. About maybe setting it up, because maybe I will start using that as my regular modem router thing, and a few weeks. So yeah, Drew said, "Cool, glad it got there safely." Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. It was also really nice because I think it's the first thing that I've actually gotten in the mail that ever said it came from Ice Pits Queen. So I thought that was real. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I finally got here today, so at least I don't have to worry about that anymore. Just said I thought you might like that. Yeah. You were definitely right, just right on the money. Yeah. I just hope my well, to be honest, my only concern really is I hope like my Cox high speed internet, like my internet provider, I mean approves of the modem router, even though I guess it's technically from AT&T. But I mean, like it shouldn't be a problem as long as I like own it or anything. It's just I know Cox may consider AT&T like a competition or something. But so yeah, but basically that's my only really concern. But I mean, but to be honest, even Cox has like modem routers like that I've seen before. So, not to mention before I've got the modem that I have now. Before my sister bought the modem that she did last year, well, last modem I think was like a modem router in one. So, and I feel like a modem router in one is I feel like it's less hassle, less trouble. Like it takes up less on my desk as well. Because especially because I have like two separate things. I have like an actual router and then an actual modem, like two separate things. So Jerry said it should work as long as you can plug it in. Yeah. That's true. And I'm glad that I had like a power cord. I mean, I wasn't sure if you were just sending me the modem or the modem router by itself or if it had a cord with it, but because I mean, because when we were live streaming that day when you found it, I don't know if you showed like the cord or anything. I know you showed like the modem router, but I was on my phone at the time when we were finishing our Taylor Lover uh, album review, and so I didn't really get a good look at the modem router. I just it's like, oh, you have a modem, like, and then when you offered to like send it to me, I was really desperate. I mean, at the moment, but at the time, I didn't know that that it was just my modem, like I guess my cord. I mean, my old modem, my old modem's power cord kind of died or something. Like, but luckily I had a replacement or already like or a new one because so I guess I've just been using an old modem power cord for the last few years and not even realizing it. So maybe that's why it finally gave out, just because it's several years old now. I said, yeah. I said that was quick. Our mail service is slow as shit. Still waiting for last month's water bill. Will probably only arrive next month. Stupid post office. Oh my God, Elsa. Trust said, no, I just showed the modem router. I didn't show you the cord, but I sent the cord with it because I knew you would need it. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. I'm glad that you did. But yeah, so hopefully everything will work fine. At least now I have a replacement if by some chance my modem really does go out or something. And you never know. Even before my modem even goes out, since we own it anyway, I mean, I may just switch to the modem router that you sent me here in a few weeks when my sister comes down again and she can show me how to like hook it up and stuff. I mean, I know I could also look at like YouTube videos and stuff, but I think I may still wait a little bit since it looks like my modem is not acting up lately. So, I still can't believe you. I was like, oh, Mel Sormus is slow as shit. That was funny. Oh, Rudy Patootie. Yeah, I was just streaming for over 3 hours. I think I'll say goodnight. I would like to get a few more hours of sleep. Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap up. Maybe I may even do a kind of continuation of this stream or talk about more like more my nostalgic like childhood things or like my frenemies again in a future stream. So don't be surprised if I do a part two of this stream like next week or something. Because I knew we'd be talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of random stuff, a lot of childhood stuff, nostalgic stuff as well. And so I didn't know if I could get everything out in like 2 or 3 hours, anyways. So, but yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed my stream tonight. But yeah, I think I'm getting ready to wrap things up. I don't want to keep y'all from anything else, like because I know Elsa needs to get some more sleep, and I hope you had a nice dinner, Trish. And yeah, and I guess I'm looking forward to our Hootad review tomorrow. I mean, if it's still going on, because I don't even know what the weather's doing tomorrow, and I don't know if Robert and Wild Bill are still up for a stream tomorrow, or for a review or not. But yeah, I mean, not to mention, I still have to listen to the album. Believe it or not, I haven't really listened to the album lately because I've been busy with other stuff. But and then I had a stream, like then I did my stream tonight. So but yeah, I'll probably do that first thing in the morning because I know it's Garth. I mean, and I'm pretty much like a bigger fan of his like hit songs anyway. So don't be surprised if the songs on the album that he didn't release as a single or anything like that, if I do end up giving some songs like 2 or 3 stars again, or even lower. I mean, it's just I guess you could say even though I do consider myself a fan, like a Garth fan, it's I guess you could say I love a lot of artists more. Like I actually love a lot of artists more than I do Garth. But Garth is still somewhere up there. Like he's at least in my I don't know maybe top 40 or 50 favorite artists. I mean, because it's just I have a lot of favorite artists, so I don't know where Garth would actually rank if I was to actually list my favorite artists. But I did grow up listening to Garth as well because of my grandma. Like even it was is even relevant to the stream tonight because I was talking about my grandma's like the apartment complex she lived from 1997 to 2006. I still remember her Garth collection. Like, but most of her Garth collection was pretty much cassette tapes, and then she also had the Garth poster, which I actually have on my wall in the background here. But yeah, Elsa, this was fun. Yeah, it's fun talking about nostalgic stuff. Yeah, I agree, Elsa. So yeah, I want to do more of this, and yeah, so possibly my stream next week will maybe be even kind of a continuation of tonight's stream, and I thought it was relevant to tonight. I mean, to this week in history events because yesterday literally did mark 13 years since my grandmother moved out of her apartment complex and she moved into a nursing home for the very first time, and so I kind of lost my second home, I guess, because like I can only visit my grandma when she was in the nursing home, but I couldn't like spend the night with her like I did when she lived in her apartment complex back in 2006. So yeah, yeah. Trish said, "I'm ready for the stream. Just hope we get to do it." Yeah, me too, Trish. I said, "See you guys tomorrow, even if it is about boring goth." I said, "I see the hurricane as a Cat 3 now." Trish said, "Okay, good night, Elsa." Elsa said, "It did wreak havoc in the Bahamas." And Elsa said, "Night, Trish and Alvin." Yeah, night, everybody. So yeah, I guess end the stream. Sorry, I was kept rambling on for so long, but yeah. So yeah, this has been Alvin, and I'm mucking out. And don't forget to stay sexy. Giggity. Good night, everybody.